Every mind is strung with knowledge and memories. Within every brain, every neuron, a story waiting to be told. When a life passes on, the stories that went untold and the secrets it protected are lost forever, perished like the faintest whisper. A veritable library of memories, dreams, and wisdom, faded and forgotten by a world uncaring. All that remains is the mark that the life has left on the world around it. Yet somewhere, deep within the dregs of the swamps, one creature refuses to become just a memory. The Prophet of Hugs is prepared to make his mark. If he could just figure out how to turn on the lights. I think I found it. Warmer. We're getting warmer. I'm so blue without you. Oh, there it is. Very bright. Hi, hello. There's actually people. Wow. This is truly the power of friendship, in my honest opinion. But, let me try not to be a little too cringe, right? You'd think leading up to this, you'd feel quite nervous, and to a small extent, I kind of was. But then something, I don't know, something just kind of pressed me on, and I just stopped feeling, and I just started doing. I suppose it is not the pull from the front or the push from behind, but rather the drive from within. But enough about that. You know, most people... Thank you. Hi, thank you, Mina. Most people... Most streamers, if you'd consider them people, they'll either do one of two things. They're going to just start streaming. Just have fun, right? Don't even think about it. And you know what? That's perfectly valid. That's fine if you enjoy that. Other people will want to introduce themselves in a very fancy PowerPoint slide, whatever, graphic designs, which are not exactly my passion, but, you know, if I was ever good at that, then that would be nice. I would love to introduce myself in such a way. It's really important to get to know the people that you meet, at least in my opinion, because connections are one of the strongest things on this planet. Networking is an unbelievably important skill. It's crucial, I feel. Sometimes you can't really do everything on your own, and you just gotta get some help. Take that how you will. Now, I don't know how solid the voice volume is compared to the background music. I have the music on pretty darn low. That should be fine, I hope, but, you know, here, I think I'll shut it off for the time being. It served a good purpose. That was, that music was Laputa Station from UB Funkies, which is a game that nobody has played in their entire life. But hey, it was good. I like it. So you did not hear it at all. So what if I turned it up a little bit louder? Let me, there, it's at 10% now. It was earlier at like 2 or something. Honestly, a real jam. What was that sound? What was that? Oh, subscribe. Oh, cool. Nice. I didn't realize that the overlay actually accounted for YouTube subscriptions. That's actually kind of fancy. I'm learning a lot about this program. You fear what you don't understand, but, you know, familiarity also brings contempt, which is kind of funny. Funny how that works. Yeah, that's one of my vibing songs. It's one of my favorite 30-second loops of all time. I could talk about that game forever. I could talk about anything, as long as you, you know, keep me going and enable me enough, but, you know. Some people can only handle so much of my yammering. Let me shut this off for the time being, and then let me get right into the meat and potatoes, the bread and butter of today's stream. Which might not, it might be my only stream, I don't even know. My schedule is going to be very unclear. I don't think I'll be able to make an actual, like, streaming schedule and stick to it, but that is because of the job that I work, and I am only guaranteed a day off on Saturday. Everything else is kind of up in the air. Ah, Brahms accordion. I wish I could play that song without getting demonetized. Hi, Kara. Thank you for supporting me. I love you too. You're great. You're awesome. Now let me learn how to tab. Right. So on the topic of discussions and intros and getting to know people, let's switch over to here. I hope that freaking works. Behind me is what I like to call the best game on Steam. Arguably one of the best games of all time. And you're probably, some people, if you don't know, you might be thinking, well, that's kind of sudden to be jumping right into a game, but hear me out. Tab. Smiley face. If you do hear any background noise that isn't Terraria, it's my very loud neighbor that keeps playing very loud music next door. I thought about streaming on Friday, but turns out that my mom would be home and also probably be playing loud music, and I care about the quality of my environment, especially when it comes to streaming. This is a very janky setup, but I think it's serviceable enough for this purpose. I kind of wanted to wait a little bit on this, but I don't know, something just told me, hey, you're feeling kind of depressed, maybe you should actually give yourself something to look forward to, and, well, there we go. Now we're here. So maybe sometimes depression's a good thing. Don't take my word for it, though. Yo, indeed. Now, but before we actually jump into it, right? Here's me. This is me. I'm an anomaly, to say the least, but my design has a lot of rhyme and reason to it, trust me. We'll probably get more into the finer details on that at some point in the nearish future, but in the meantime, I'm gonna shove myself over to the side of the screen, and I'll have to reabsorb my tenties a little bit so that they don't obstruct the screen that we're going to be seeing. Now, how does that look? Well, I could probably make myself a little bit smaller, but it might not be that big of a deal. Well, okay, just a little bit, right here. See, for a game like Terraria, it's kind of hard to put yourself on the screen properly unless you have like a border or something that you can place yourself on, because there's a lot of information on every side of the screen, so you don't really want to be covering that too much. Am I a Corruption fan? Aw. Hi, Cherry. Hi, Prixon. You guys are still best buds, aren't you? That's great to hear. Yeah, you're still there. You're still there somewhere, Kara. In my heart. Right there. So, Corruption. I mean, if we're talking about the biome, I think Corruption and Crimson have their equal merits, and I think they're awesome. depending on what you want to do with them, depending on your class, your playstyle, etc. There's really a lot of things that they bring to the table. But let's actually tap into the game now. The game should be audible, but hopefully not too loud. I think it's fine personally, but that's just according to my headphones. It's kind of hard to gauge these sorts of things, so I'm just kind of eyeballing it, you know? Ah yes, who could forget such cool melee weapons like the Light's Bane, which is actually unironically pretty good now, and the Scourge of the Corruptor, which is also kind of broken when you think about it. Crimson is fun though because Ichor is kind of broken on melee and summoner playthroughs because the debuff is incredibly strong. It's amazing. Like, it can carry you all the way up to the end of the game, and I think it stacks with Betsy's Wrath. That's a different story. I'm rambling. We should get into the finer details of who the heck you're dealing with today. Okay, volume is fine. That's what I like to hear. I noticed I look to the side a lot because that's where my second screen is, so it might mess with my tracking a teensy tiny bit, but I think we can work with it. If you've never played Terraria, I think you should, because there's almost something for everyone here. If you like video games, that is, but, you know, it might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I think it's done a really good job at, for those party emojis? What am I looking at? Man, the newfangled technology sure is something. Okay. So, without me getting distracted too much, let me join on my main journey character. We're going to play on this world because I've been building a lot of stuff on it, and I think you guys might like it. You probably won't, but I do personally. So yeah, you got all the achievements in Terraria, Kara. That is so cool. Like, hats off to you, props to you, etc. Now, most people, as I said earlier, let me turn down this thing. Most people tend to introduce themselves, especially if we're talking about VTubers, right? It's a whole fad. It's a whole infection on the internet, and I think it's pretty interesting. Fascinating, even. Most people will introduce themselves with slides, some sort of graphics, and if I was better at that, I would love to do the same thing. Also, yes, fishing's also a thing. Fishing is great. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, fishing is awesome. Well, I decided I'm not really much of an artist, depending on who you ask, but instead, I built my slides. I built my graphic slides. I am going to introduce you to me through a very large question mark Terraria build. I assume that this music is also fine. It also blends fine with my voice. It's a little bit louder than the main menu theme, but I think it's okay, and probably will force me to talk a little bit more clearly. So there's that way you won't be too overloaded with monotony that my voice is usually known for. It's still good. You know what? I like you, Kara. You should stick around more often. Let's be friends. Yeah, Stardew. I've heard about that game. I heard it is fun, and you know it looks okay, I suppose, but I'm not really sure if I feel like playing it. But that's more of a personal problem. I kind of look at a game and I go, well, that's cool and all, but I don't need it. So I'm just, you have to really like push me like annoyingly hard to get me to try something sometimes. Or you just have to be really good at convincing me, which is how I got into games like Subnautica and No Man's Sky, which are also great games and I recommend them entirely. Well, almost entirely. No Man's Sky is more of a, if it's your thing kind of thing, you know. Farming, I guess that's, yeah, there's different ways to approach farming, I suppose. SMT is a great game, honestly. Yeah, I got pushed into playing that one thanks to a very good skeletal friend of mine who said, "Oh my gosh, your game is so bad, please learn what a good game is." And then I was force-fed SMT4 and Strange Journey Redux, and then I later became indoctrinated and I played SMT5. Good games, good games. Not perfect games, but very good games. Now that's funny, right? Yeah, I was thinking about the whole farming thing, right? Because farming is, if we're talking about literal, like actual, like farmland, food farming, then, you know, that depends. I haven't really done much of that unless you count Minecraft and Terraria, like plant growing. But yeah, maybe one day I'll try Stardew. Maybe, but it's no promises. I don't really make promises. Yes, you did a little bit of pushing, but, you know, in a very nice way, and I appreciate that. Okay, honey. Enjoy your workday, if you can. I'm going to be here for the next I don't know how long, but I'll be here. Hello, Echo. Echo Hotel. Now that you're here, I'm going to double check, actually, to make sure everything is running fine. And honestly, I think it is, and that's good. It's very good. I could probably make myself a little bit smaller. Nah, it's probably not important. It's fine, it's fine. Yeah, I wasn't really expecting that either. Like, some games kind of, like, surprise you, and then you're like, wait, why do I keep playing? That's kind of what happened with No Man's Sky. I had a bit of a rough start at first because it was super laggy on my Windows 7, and like, I didn't know what I was doing. The game was kind of slow, and then I kind of got into understanding it, and I started exploring the world, and I gathered more resources, and I started setting up my base, and I was like, okay, I can finally start doing things that are fun. So then I started hunting for freighters and starships, and it's a fun time, honestly. If you like the grind, and if you kind of like treating it as like a second, I don't want to say a second job, but like kind of a hobby, I guess. I don't really know how to describe it, but some people like it. It's very relaxing in that regard. If I'm going to be still here by 6, yeah, we'll see. I'm not so sure about that. I think today is going to be a bit of a short stream unless you want to, like, unless people want to hang out and talk for a little bit, in which case I absolutely can. That sounds fun. I like getting to know people. Hello, Emmett. It's been great. Great meeting you. Now, I guess we'll, as they say on popular internet culture, let's just jump into it. I'm going to introduce you to who the heck you're talking to. Hello, Tashi. Welcome to the Orc Cult. It is great to see you. I'm ecstatic that you're here, if I'll be completely honest. We're like, people are real. You guys are real. That's awesome, honestly. Now today, I'm going to introduce you to Sai, otherwise known as Hug Thulu, or so they say. Maybe Hug Thulu is more like, I think Sai might actually be the avatar of Hug Thulu. They might actually be two different beings, but, you know, you can treat them as one and the same. But, I know, right? Some people are, from what I've seen, and that's interesting now that I think about it. Sometimes you can never really tell. With each room that you're going to see here, also, yeah, there's plenty of people in your head. I get that a lot. It's a lot to go over, I swear. You promised. All right. You know, that makes me very happy. Hello. Hello, Emmy. Nice to meet you. Well, every room here I try to add blocks and walls and furnitures that just make sense. And You know, I feel like this room, the first room, might be the weakest because that was when I first started playing with the concept of the idea since I didn't have any confidence in my graphic design skills. And hello, more Blulu, that's funny. I kind of just started digging around in the underground and telling myself, you know, I'm just playing around with the idea. So, the block choice is not too varied here, but I tried to choose blocks that kind of fit me a little bit, things that kind of resonate with me. I tried not to go too hard on the rainbow bricks because they're one of my favorite bricks in the game. But then I added, as you can see, a little bit of hive block accenting, some stardust, I think stardust brick walls, and some Legion blocks, which, hey, you're right, maybe I am a bit of a corruption person. I think the Legion furniture is really cool, and it deserves a lot of recognition because it's cool. I've added some paintings that kind of remind me of myself a little bit. See, some people would say I'm very one-dimensional, right? These hearts and these little tendrils here on the walls, like, that's totally a me thing, right? It just, how do I say? As the kids would say, just like me for real, for real. You know what I mean? I'm not too hip with the current lingo these days, but I'm trying my best. I like the hand painting that's coming out of the earth because truly it's like someone is making a grand rise from the dead, and as someone who really resonates with like the whole idea of like a phoenix rising from its ashes, I think that's pretty cool. I might be reading too much into it though, but I think that's kind of what art is all about. It's all about expression, interpretation, and how it makes you and others feel. That's just me though. How do you do, fellow kids? Welcome. My name is Sai. I go by many names, but that's the easiest one in my opinion. Let me try not to turn too much so I don't mess with my tracking, but yeah. What do we have next? Past this door. Right. Today you're going to learn about my age. Unfortunately, everyone and their mother seems to like listing their age, so I'm going to tell you I'm about as old as Hugs themselves. More or less, give or take. That's kind of like it's kind of around that ballpark, you know what I mean? Hugthulhu himself is definitely age old, very, very ancient, and honestly, I feel that a lot. I'm so tired, and my back hurts whenever I have to, I don't know, get up to answer the door or something. Makes me cranky sometimes, but nah, I'm mostly just messing with you. I'm not. I feel old, but depending on who you ask, I might not actually be that old. At least not in this physical manifestation, this vessel, if you will. But I had a lot of fun building this, to be honest, because I really like the new blocks that they introduced at some point a few updates ago, like the, I think that one is like the Star Royale block or something. No, it might not be that one. I think that's the next one over. Yeah, it is. But the persistency of time and eyes, that's a really good... I see emojis. I don't really know what that is. How do you do that? That's really interesting. I have no freaking idea. Age equals Hugs. That's me. I am an age. I'm age old. Yes, I'm about Hugs years old. Correct. But yeah, I like the classic painting, the persistency of time. At least I think that's what it's called. And it just really, I look at that and I'm like, yeah, honestly, real classic. I'm a bit of an art enjoyer, as some might say. When was Hugs invented? Well, to answer that question, we need to go all the way back to the year 1943. Or don't, actually, that's probably not a good year to go back to, but I'm just messing with you. Up next, in the next room, we have some more cringe information about me. I'm a Sagittarius. And I think that's Cool, that's one of my favorite signs, honestly. Because it means a lot of things. It means that your element is fire, which if you want to buy into that whole thing, I know it's not for everyone. Like when I was younger, I used to think, oh well, fire is so basic, everyone likes fire, yada yada, but there's a reason why fire is very popular as symbolism and an element itself. Because, well, I can't actually explain why, it just feels right. After a long time, you eventually grow into that mold, I guess. What happened in 1943? Well, to answer that question, we need to look for a really cool Sabaton song called Panzerkampf, but maybe some other time. Really good song, by the way. Where was I in 1943? I was probably off wandering the stars somewhere. I would like to be among the stars again someday, and that's perfect segue, actually. That leads me right into this room that I built here because it was really star-focused, you could probably tell. I really like the Stardust color scheme of blue and gold. I think it's electric blue and gold, specifically. I think they look really cool together. I placed these statues of the unicorn and the bow here because that's Sagittarius's persona, basically. It's a centaur, and centaurs are kind of cool. I don't really pay a lot of attention to them, but I think they're pretty cool. You can't really tell very easily, but I did place a little star in the wall here. Like, I tried to make a star shape with different star background walls. I think it looks nice. That's just me. It's my opinion. I've been trying to learn how to build better lately, and it's not something I'm talented at. I don't really like to use that word, but more on that later. But it is something that I do care about, and I want to try and put time and effort into honing that craft. So, there's that. No, I mean, yeah, to be fair, Suze, I am a lot older than that, if I'll be honest with you. Oh yeah, go ahead. You should do a lot of things after this stream, such as regret your life decisions. John Hug invented hugs when he tried to wrestle a man twice his weight. You know, that reminds me of this one time in college. I didn't really know what I was doing, but, I was just trying to, build up my life, and I had gotten braces at the time, and back when you could, or maybe this is still a thing, when I had braces, I had to get them adjusted and tightened every, month or so. And whenever they did that, I could actually choose the color of the rubber bands that they tie around the braces. So one day at college, I was walking around with my pink braces because pink was a funny color back then. And I was sitting in the cafeteria with all these cringy other kids my age, if not a little bit older. And we didn't really know what we were doing. We were just kids, right? There was a lot of hugging going on. We were just hanging out, having fun, being friends. There was this one girl that I remember. I think she was nice. I don't really remember her very much. And there was this guy. I think it was her boyfriend or something. But he gave me a hug too, and I tried to give him a good hug, but he literally just picked me right up, scooped me up, and just princess carried me around the cafeteria like I was not even 2 pounds or something. It was effortless. I guess he was a muscular guy, but that was a really funny experience, and I don't really know how or why I ended up falling into that situation, but I thought it was pretty funny, so I felt like sharing it. Yes, by the way, it's going to be a bad habit of mine that someone is going to say something, and then it's going to remind me of a story, and then I'm going to tell you a story. That's kind of how I operate. That's the thing, I'm trying to make my mark on the world, and honestly, passing on this knowledge in my brain in the form of stories, I'm sure it'll reach out to someone eventually, right? Now, where was I? Oh yeah, I would be questioning my life choices after the stream from being here. Yeah, that's understandable. Once upon a hug. Yeah, I agree. Right, sorry, I got distracted again. I like the bunny constellation painting. It's really cool, but I don't really see constellations that often where I live because city lights, I guess. Not that it's a big city or anything, but there are enough street lights to kind of mess with the sky a little bit. That's just me, though. Maybe. I don't know. Which reminds me of another time that I tried to chase after this green comet. Remember when the green comet came by Earth? I think it was in February. I thought that was so cool, and I really wanted to get a glimpse of it, but ultimately I don't think I ever ended up finding it. I tried to look with binoculars and everything, but I don't know. I don't think I ever properly got enough confirmation to see if it was actually what I was looking at. But that was a cool time, and that comet last passed by the Earth about 10,000 years ago, and as far as we're aware, I don't think it's ever coming back, which is kind of sad. I wanted to be among those stars and celestial bodies. I think that would be so cool. Maybe if I ever get a proper loading screen, it's probably just going to have like a little green comet in the background. I think that would be nice. I'm trying to personalize my stuff, you know? Oh, you mean I'm marking me alright. Thanks, H guy. I'm not sure if we've met, but you know, you're alright. I like you. Moving on to the next room, we have... Wow. My character's main weapons. I'm a fan of staves and scythes. I think they're super cool. Maybe this room is a little bit underdeveloped, but as you can see here, I have one side which is the it's decorated with summoner stuff. Summoner, by the way, is the best class in Terraria in my honest, humble, factual, objective opinion. Don't at me. I think the idea of amassing an army, a cult even, is such a powerful thing. Going back to what I said earlier about networking and how really underestimated it can be sometimes. You know what? It is. You know, I'm glad Stick Peddler is agreeing. I mean, you should all just agree, honestly. I'm kidding. On the other side, scythes. And honestly, I've heard that in an actual objective point of view, scythes are actually not very effective weapons because they require a lot of energy to swing and it will tire you out very easily. You know, you could probably do the same amount of damage with like a sword or an axe and it probably won't like exhaust you. Scythes are freaking massive. I think they need to be massive in order to be effective. I could be wrong. I haven't actually done that much research on them, but I really like them as a concept. So my character, my main Terraria characters tend to have the Reaper robe on the vanity because it has a little scythe that it's carrying around, and I think that's actually super cool. Like, I like that detail. When I first discovered that on my first summoner ever, I put it on and I just never took it off. I was like, man, I really feel like a guardian of nature now. Or something along those lines, I don't know. This, I agree. You guys are right. Yeah, best class for Toho, apparently. I think that's how it works. Something like that. I think another reason why my tracking is not great when I turn my head is because, unfortunately, I'm wearing glasses. And they kind of have thick rims a little bit, so I'm sure if I turn on certain angles, it's going to obstruct my eyes, and then my camera won't freaking know what to do with itself. So, I guess it's how it looks like I'm closing my eyes all the time. Either that or my eyes are just kind of small. Something along those lines. I think one way that I could probably fix that is if maybe one day I get a better setup, put my camera in a better spot, and maybe get better glasses. I don't think I'm going to be able to stream very efficiently at nighttime as much as I would love to because my camera is good for dark areas, but my glasses reflect light, and I think I need to get some anti-reflective lenses, if that's even possible. I think that would definitely put me at a good advantage for nighttime streaming. That's why I had this stream scheduled in the middle of the afternoon, but not too late in the evening because of the aforementioned reasons, and because my mom gets home at like 5 something, 5:30 or whatever, and then she might tell Alexa to play some loud music or something, and then we're just gonna get interrupted. Unless you guys are okay with that, I don't know. I'm a bit of a perfectionist sometimes. What was I talking about? Right, scythes are cool. Guardian of Hugs, Feller of Wheat. I agree. I do like that. It's a good idea. Yeah, Terraria allows you to have comically large swords, especially if you're wearing like the Titan glove or something. Or was it the Power Glove? I think it's Power Glove. I could be wrong. No, wait. I think it's Titan glove too. Both of them. Pretty sure. Selective, perfectionist looking side. Yeah. Yeah, that does describe me pretty well. I feel like I was gonna say something and I forgot what it was. I have a really short, really weak memory. It kind of fizzles out very quickly, kind of like a firework sparkler, you know, like the ones that kind of shoot into the air for like half a second and then they just disappear. At least I think that's a pretty good description, comparison. My word choice is not the best sometimes. Maybe I'm just running on low battery at the moment. Right. I remember. It's been a few years since I've gotten new glasses, actually. My prescription hasn't been updated in like 4, maybe 5 years? I think I need to go to an eye doctor at some point. But that's a different story for a different day, probably. Theoretically, if we're talking about scythes, if my character has a lot of tendrils, as you saw earlier before I retracted them, I think that would also be a good excuse to wield a scythe, because then you have lots of arms to wield it with, and then it looks, you know, it's probably a lot easier to manage, you know? Now, before we move on, let's take a really quick look at how I'm looking. Oh, well, yeah, makes sense. I'm doing a lot of looking around like such. Right, so let's move on to the next room. It's actually just a really fancy teleporter room that me and my buddy T-Tan designed. T-Tan is one of the main characters in my life. If I stream regularly by some chance, then you're probably going to see him quite a few times because we do a lot of shenanigans together, whether it's funny Terraria runs or if we're messing around in Dungeon Defenders or shredding and being shredded in Risk of Rain 2. Those are great times. Oh, let's not forget EDF, Earth Defense Force, specifically 4.1. That's a game that we play a lot. But in general, I think T is a little bit of a better builder than I am. He has grander ideas, I feel. I mostly just help with gathering the materials for him. So that way, oh, and sometimes I give him, like, insight. Like, he doesn't really know what goes good with what block or whatever. Now, that being said, this room is actually just a really fancy teleporter room. As you can see, we went full meme and built the background Nether portal and Aether portal, and that's perfectly valid now that the Nether and Aether both exist in Terraria. I'm semi-joking, but you know what I mean. There we go, let's take it up. In the next room, well, it's gonna be kind of a big room, but let's hope we can handle it. We're gonna go over the things that I like. Well, yeah, most people have a nice, easy, short and sweet like and dislikes list, but today I decided to build it for no freaking reason. Well, first off, we have a bit of a spoiler, I'm really sorry, but I really like hugs. I think they're amazing. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's recommended to have at least, like, what, 4 or so hugs per day for easy maintenance of your soul, and then anything after that is like for exponential growth, something like that. It's a science. There's a whole science behind it. source, dude, trust me. But they are my life force, and they are what keep myself and Hug Thulu alive in such a cruel, desolate world that we live in. Yeah, this is a bit of a shocker to some people, so my apologies. It's a big part of who I am, and it's something that I care about very greatly. I think 4 hugs, yeah, just as a baseline, you know. I recommend more if you can, but a lot of us can't even get 1. So, stay strong. Just, you know, hold out. You'll get there eventually. When I was building this room, I wanted to use as many bright and like eyesore-looking blocks and walls as possible. I thank T for putting some of these back walls here, like all the different like hollowed like rock walls, the ones that you make at the workbench during a in a graveyard or something. And then the really cool, I forgot if it's like argon moss bricks, I don't really remember, but the pink brick walls in the background are also pretty good. Really very neon, very gaudy, very eye-catching. I have not been realistically hugged for years. That's really unfortunate. I would fix that if I could, but I think we might be very far away. So, in case you need any explanation for the X-Woo statues, everyone knows what the good old cringe ooh-woo is. Everyone knows what ooh-woo is. If you've been on the internet long enough, you probably do. But this is just my way of writing it because I'm kind of bandaged up at the moment. I'm kind of missing an eye. Kind of like Cthulhu in this game, now that I think about it. I think that's kind of interesting. In the next like room, we have honesty. It's a bit of a bland room, but honesty is at times very cold. It's very blunt. It might not be very interesting, very colorful. It might not be what people are looking for. But I really do think that in just about every case possible, with like barely a couple exceptions, honesty really is the best policy. It's something that T and I agree on greatly. I'm glad we do. It's kind of like, it's a cold thing, but it's also a gold thing. That's kind of why I put some gold bricks here, ancient gold bricks in the center here. You know, it's like that trope that's called jerk with a heart of gold. Some people are jerks, but maybe it's because they're just too blunt. Maybe they have to word themselves better. I know I have that problem, personally. It's gotten me into a lot of trouble in the past, but that's the hand I've been dealt sometimes. I just have to learn how to articulate myself in a way that is easily understandable and digestible without accidentally hurting people, because it can and will happen, and I'm very sorry if it does. That's also why I added the nice little duality and collision paintings. They look really good, and they have good symbolism. You can't really have one without the other. You need to have a good balance of things, and inevitably, when people are honest, opinions and views are going to clash. They will collide. But that doesn't always mean it's a bad thing. That doesn't mean that you can't get along with certain people. I mean, there are certain people that you are just not going to be compatible with because of how everyone's brain operates. But a difference in views does not equal instant enemy. Most of the time. I think it's really important to learn different perspectives and understand why people think the way they do. That might just be a me thing. A lot of people might not be a fan of that. They want to, you know, they want to stick to what they're familiar with, and I guess that's only human nature. Can't really blame them for that. But sometimes, as they say, knowledge is power, and being able to understand people, how they work, how they feel, why they feel, the ins and outs of it. I think it's an important skill to have. It's something that I'm still working on personally. I have a long way to go, but that's just me. I'm rambling a little bit, but I guess that's kind of the point. Hey, greetings from me and Costa. Well, Costa is such a cool person. I'm glad she's feeling better. It really means a lot to me. Hot take, you're pretty cool. You know what? It's really nice of you. I think you're pretty cool too, whoever you are. It's very, very nice of you to be open with me like that. In the next and final room of things that I like. Say cheese. I like cheese. I like macaroni. It's my favorite food on the planet for some reason. I was born with cursed taste buds, and now I am cursed to be obsessed with cheese for the rest of my life. Yeah, being in a different continent would definitely put a very rude spin on things. I'm very sorry. I hope my connection is good enough regardless of that, though. Cheese. So, it's funny, right? Because I added, the item frames for, like, honey buckets and, like, the honey furniture. But let's just pretend that they're made of cheese for a good second, if you will. Even though honey is really good, too. I like honey. And I also added some milkshakes onto the dinner tables and the plates because I'm obsessed with shakes, but not, they're not really cheese related. I just thought they would look good. And then I also added pizza and some other thing that looked vaguely like cheese. Maybe it was a bowl of soup or something. It might have been a bowl of soup. So, let me explain. Pizza comes in many forms and is very customizable, just like pasta, and I think that's awesome. Since nobody asked whatsoever, I'm going to explain that my favorite pizza has to be one from Domino's. It is a medium deep pan pizza, which is soft but thick, if that makes sense. And it has pepperoni, it has extra cheese, and most importantly, the sauce is not regular old tomato red pizza sauce. No, that's gone. Replace the sauce with either white Parmesan garlic sauce or Alfredo sauce. And you have a super rich pizza that is so strong and so amazingly perfect and delicious that you're either going to react one of two ways. One, it's going to be way too rich and you can't stomach another single bite of it, or you'll be like me and be obsessed with it and eat, if possible, the entire pizza in one go. But I used to force myself to do that and I ended up not feeling so good as a result, so I had to limit myself and only eat half the pizza at a time. At least then I would have dinner for 2 days instead of one. But yeah, I can eat a whole pizza if I'm motivated enough. And that kind of pizza is the right way to do it. I love rich, soft, cheesy pizza. I accidentally hit my desk, I'm sorry. Grilled cheese is also really good. So you mentioned macaroni and also grilled cheese. Well, it's really funny that you mentioned that, right? Not only are those also things that you can customize a lot, why not just combine them? I've been to a couple restaurants that were enlightened enough to make the abomination known as a grilled mac and cheese sandwich. And let me tell you, that was one of the greatest things. It might be the greatest thing I have ever indulged in my entire life. It is literally nice, hot, fresh, usually white cheddar macaroni with lots of cheese, and then you just smush it between 2 pieces of grilled bread, and it's so good. It has no right to be this good, and some people would easily denounce it and say that this is an abomination and needs to stop right freaking now, but I disagree. I think it is, as this painting says, a gift from the heavens. That's the name of the painting. But I'm a fanatic. Which is, fun fact, where the word fan came from. I'm a huge fanatic of cheese for many reasons. And you've learned a couple of them today. Grilled mac and cheese, yes, that is a real thing. I prefer actual Italian pizza baked fresh with real mozzarella cheese. That actually sounds good too. I like it when it's baked fresh. Mozzarella is really good. It's one of my favorite types of cheese. Mozzarella sticks are something that I'm also obsessive over, but I can't have too much of it. It would definitely make me feel sick after having like 8+ mozzarella sticks. Getting hungry just thinking about it. One of my favorite appetizers to have as a main course for some reason. But yes, grilled mac and cheese is in fact a real discovery. It is an amazing... Yes, it is beautiful. I agree, Modius. It's a great thing. I could actually gush about this for no freaking reason all day if you enable me long enough. I could go on about how I love to customize my macaroni and put all my different seasonings and different cheeses into it to make it a different and unique experience every single time. But that's the beauty of pasta. You can do whatever you want with it. I had to stop myself. I'm going to lose control of myself. It's such an amazing thing. What do you think about people who absolutely despise cheese? Well, honestly, as much as I feel bad that their opinion does not align with mine, well, they can't really control what they like. Especially when it comes to food flavors, it's a very particular thing. It's something that people can be very particular over. I myself am the pickiest eater in the world, and then I found something that satisfies me entirely, and that's cheese. I'm not a big fan of meat, but some meats can be good. I recently started liking turkey. Turkey's pretty good. I could tell you all the stories about how I first got into different foods like bacon and turkey, etc. We'd be here all day though. Food is such a big topic. Like, as I said earlier, cooking is like a cross between an art and literal freaking chemistry, or alchemy, if you want to view it that way. They call it a culinary art for a reason. There's a lot to it. You can't, like, there's a whole science to it. That's my way of seeing it, I guess. I do know people that hate cheese. Like there's this like German guy that I know, and like he draws a lot when he feels like it, and like he can't eat cheese. I think he actually has a condition, right? I don't think he can actually have cheese, which is really unfortunate. But I guess that's why people make imitation foods. We have stuff like imitation crab. We have almond milk instead of real milk. We have plant-based meat. When are we getting meat-based plants? That sounds interesting. We have... Is there a fake cheese? I mean, there's probably a lot of fake cheeses out there, but I don't really put much research into them. Like imitation cheese? I wonder if anyone's done that. I'll need to look into this later. I am literally right here. I'm glad you're right here, Prixon. I'm so glad. It means a lot to me that you're here. Do you have some sort of minor lactose intolerance or something? I can eat plenty of cheese, no problem. Me personally, I don't think so. No. Oh, if you're referring to me and my mozzarella comment, it's just that once you have too much of anything, you'll start to feel kind of sick to your stomach, and you'll want either to stop eating or you'll want to eat literally anything else. That's just kind of how your body works. Reminds me of this one time I ate a whole bag of candy corn, but that's a story for another day. Let's see. Meat-based plants. Yeah, that'd be cool. Velveeta. I've heard mixed things about Velveeta. I've heard that it's super nasty, but I haven't actually tried it myself. Some people say it's the best thing ever. I would need to actually do some research into this. Some people think it's not real cheese. But I'm just speculating. I have a lot of research to do. I have a lot of things to learn when it comes to the perfect craft. Get it? Craft macaroni? Oh my gosh, I cracked myself up. I have to eat grain-free pasta. Well, yeah, some people have to. I know that my cousin has an allergy to seafood, but he loves shrimp, and he just can't stop himself, so he'll just eat shrimp whenever he feels like it, even if it makes him sick afterwards. What a guy. Based guy, honestly. He does not... He lets nothing come between him and what he loves. And I think it's pretty noble, very brave. Alvina is fake cheese. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so that does confirm it. Meat-based plants. You clearly don't watch the Thought Emporium. They're making a meat-based plant. Shrimp fry. Yeah. Well, okay, so people are out there making that. I think that's pretty cool. Just growing some meat plants, you know? What more could you ask for? Maybe I would learn how to eat vegetables. I have a problem with vegetables. I don't like any vegetables, like, at all. Unless you count, like... Potatoes aren't vegetables, are they? Or are they, like, a root or something? Because, like, I like french fries, obviously. I like mashed potatoes. I like other things that are probably made with potatoes, but I can't remember at the moment. There's this brand of fruit, liquid fruit called... Well, it's not liquid. It's called Buddy Fruits, but then there's other brands that I think they're called like Peter Rabbit or something like that. It is literally it's just a pouch of pure blended fruit, like blended into almost an applesauce-y kind of texture, and that makes it a lot easier for me to ingest, because texture also means a lot to me when I'm eating something. Reminds me of this one time when I got into a relationship with blueberry jam, and I started putting peanut butter and blueberry jam on my sandwich, and I thought that was like so good. Blueberry jam's really good. But then one day I bit into a solid freaking blueberry in my sandwich, and I was like, ugh. And I just could not handle that, and I never touched blueberry jam ever again, because I'm very one-dimensional like that. I don't know. Something about the sensory of certain flavors and textures just either attracts me to food super hard, or it turns me off entirely and just rejects me. Like trying to put like a USB in through the wrong way or something. I don't know. Hello. Why so cheesy? I'm very cheesy. People have described me as such before, and honestly, I don't even mind at this point. I feel like I should embrace it as part of who I am. Get it? Embrace. Hello. So potato is supposedly a vegetable. Okay, well that's good to know. I haven't really done that much research on those sorts of things because... I don't know. I just don't. Let's see. If it flowers / grows from a plant as a consumed seed, it's a fruit. If it grows underground or from roots, vegetable. Yeah, that makes sense. Or yeah, or if it has like seeds inside of it, I think that also counts as a fruit. That means scientifically, as far as I remember, scientifically, tomato is a fruit. Culinarily, it's a vegetable. Or so the debate goes. I don't know. I'm not really a tomatoologist. Based cheese emoji. Oh my gosh, subscription. Huh. Wow. Thanks, Tin Man. What a legend. Thanks, Tin Man. You're awesome. I'm gonna build more out of tin plating from now on. So, this is, you know what, my emoji should, oh my gosh, cheese, that would be cool. I've noticed a lot of VTubers have like an official emoji that like they put on their name or something like that. I thought about if I want to buy into that sort of hype, and if I did, it would be like a squid or something, like a squid emoji. I like squids, but unfortunately, I just didn't care enough. But if we're gonna adopt cheese, or even the hug emoji, that would also be funny. Cheese and hug at the same time. Cheese sounds great. Very cheesy, as some might put it. the state of tomatoes, the true cause of World War III. That is very true. I'm sure World War III is going to be started over something really freaking stupid. It's going to start over like an online argument or something, and then someone's going to be like, "Fight me on my borders, bro." And then yeah, that it just tumbles from there. Let me scratch my eye really quick. Okay. But thanks, Costa. Really cool. Good to have you on board. I'm going to move on to the next room because I think I've spent a lot of time explaining that cheese is objectively the best food in existence. Next we have the red teleporter, because now we're going into the underworld, we're going into the bad stuff. Included with another, you know, another portal set, which you've already seen. In the next room, oh gosh, the dislikes. Except I accidentally messed up the wiring, and the dislikes title down there actually turns off whenever I light up this room. I'm just going to live with it, I guess. About 15 minutes of cheese, yeah, that makes sense. Dynasty wood. That is actually my favorite wood to build with. I love Dynasty wood. It's so good looking. Whoever disagrees is just wrong. I saw that there was like a YouTuber who did like shorts of like useless items and stuff, or something like that. I don't remember. And he mentioned Dynasty wood, and I got mad. He's strong. Dynasty wood's really good. Tomato. Right. So let me talk about bananas. If cheese is the gold standard of good yellow goodness, then bananas are yellow evil. I'm not making this up. They are very evil. I do not like bananas whatsoever. There has been really rare times when if I've consumed a buddy fruit that has banana in it, then that's fine, actually, because I mostly taste the apple rather than the banana. So at least I'm getting my potassium. Bananas, they're mean. I'm sorry, I feel like this room's kind of bland, but I tried to make the back walls kind of look like a bunch of like peeled bananas stacked on top of each other, like banana pillars. I thought that was really funny. You see, as always, there is there's a story about this. And yeah, sometimes there are apples and bananas. They tend to be put together side by side very commonly. Now, here we have, on the item frames, on the plates, we have banana splits, bananas themselves, and the banana daiquiri. I think that's how you pronounce it. And this goes all the way back into a very deep, dark backstory. We're going all the way back to the dark year of 2017. I have just gotten my first job at Dunkin' Donuts / Baskin Robbins. We're off to a great start here, but because it is a combination store, I have to run everything. I have to do the coffee, I have to make the sandwiches, you know, typical Dunkin' stuff. But then I have to make the ice cream sandwiches and the banana splits and the ice cream shakes. And the worst part was that I only had the closing shifts. Well, you know, better than the opening shifts, I suppose, because everyone is crazy and hangry for their coffee, but no, they become rabid animals. No, the closing shifts, I was only ever employed with one other person, and that's how it was. If it got super busy late at night on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, and everyone decides that they want milkshakes all at the exact same freaking time, well, we're just crud out of luck. We have a line going all the way out to the back of the door. All the way out to the front. And it's just me and one other person. The craze was, for someone like me, it was terrifying. It was horrible. I would not wish that upon anyone but my worst enemies. But it was that job where I learned what social anxiety is. I'm going to explain what bananas have to do with all this, right? One of the items on the menu was, of course, the mango banana smoothie, strawberry banana smoothie. That was a Dunkin' item. And then over on the Baskin side, we had banana splits and banana royales, which are different ice cream dishes where basically you just chop a banana into different ways. Guess what? I had never chopped a banana in my life. And I had to learn how to cut a banana with a flimsy little plastic knife. My stomach just grumbled. I'm sorry if you heard that. I would mess it up. I would not cut it very well. It would look super shoddy. It was very, very rough around the edges, to put it simply. And I was super nervous and anxious because I had a crowd of people staring at me doing this banana mess up. I was mutilating this poor thing. And it would waste so much time. It would kill like the whole momentum of the line that I have to deal with. Scientists estimate that we share about 60% of our DNA with bananas. That is kind of true. Maybe that's why I hate bananas. I see a little bit of myself in them. Anyway, I can't properly put into words, despite calling myself a writer, the sheer terror that I felt trying to make a really well-balanced banana royale in front of so many people that really wanted their ice cream to be perfect, or else they weren't gonna take it, or they'd want me to start over again, or they'd ask me to get someone else to do it because I'm just so awful. It kills a man. It really does. Mutilator of bananas. That's one of my titles, that's for sure. That's definitely a title. Now, something else on top of the whole banana escapade, the whole iceberg, is that if they wanted it to go, that would make things worse, because you had to put it in this very specific container, a very flimsy plastic container that came with its own lid, but the lid was really badly made. And if you tried to like put it on properly, you would either break the whole thing, or it just wouldn't stick properly, or you might just send a banana and ice cream flying everywhere and making a mess and embarrassment out of yourself. Great, cool, love it. Bananas are evil. They get in my way. They heighten the anxiety. And I don't like them. That's my personal story. I don't like bananas. Maybe you could tell, though. That's why these chairs are painted yellow and made out of bones and dungeon brick furniture. Banana anxiety is probably a real thing. I'm sure there's a banana phobia out there somewhere. There is also a phobia of cash registers. I believe it is called cassophobia. Makes me wonder if I have something like that, but you know, that's a bit of a speculation at this point. I'm just going to be really careful about these things before I research them. Maybe I should do that at some point. Whew. Okay, we're doing great so far. We're doing great. We're probably about halfway or a little bit more than halfway done with this whole thing. Let's take a water break. I've been talking your ears off. I'm so sorry, guys. Pineapple is a funny one. Give me a minute. Water is the source of life. You should treat it like such. Hashtag make water free. Anyway. So pineapple, I've never actually eaten solid pineapple. I don't think I've ever had a pineapple smoothie either. I just don't really get exposed to pineapples all that much. Yeah, I know, this build's kind of on the big side. I mean, what you see on the edge of the map there, I mean, we're kind of getting close to the end. The edge of the map anyway. Different story. Oh yeah, syringes. That reminds me of a story, but I don't think you want to hear that right now, so I'm just gonna go easy on you and skip it over, unless you're morbidly curious. Water's free? What? What? It's like... That's cool. I think that's really cool. Unrelated, but probably related, there's like a bottle of water here is like $1. A small water bottle is like 79 cents. Right, so before I become flabbergasted at the existence of free water, pineapples. So let's talk about baby food, okay? When I was a baby, I ate baby food because that's what we did back then. And, my mom liked buying me those tiny little glass jars of, like, Gerber baby food. And there was this one that she just called pineapple pudding. I don't know if it actually was pineapple. It might be. But I ate that, and that was my favorite baby food. Contrary to popular belief, the macaroni-flavored baby food is not actually very good and does not taste like macaroni. I do not recommend trying it. Pineapple, by the way, in my opinion, doesn't really belong on pizza because pizza should have cheese and pepperoni and garlic. I like garlic. But in my opinion, I mean, take that with a grain of salt. I don't think pineapple belongs anywhere, especially not in my stomach. I don't really like it. But the pineapple pudding, the baby food, that was really good. And I think later, Gerber started changing their packaging. It went from tiny glass jars to like small plastic cups, I guess to save on resources. I don't know. And that pineapple pudding, as far as I'm aware, was later renamed, or that was probably always its name, but it underwent the name of Hawaiian Delight, which on the image, on the label, it actually had some banana slices on it as well. I forget if there was pineapples there, but ironically, I liked that Hawaiian Delight baby food. I thought it was actually pretty good. And honestly, I'm a little Nova, oh my gosh, hi Nova. Hello Nova. I'm instantly happy to see you. If you were to give me that Hawaiian Delight pineapple pudding flavored freaking baby food, if you were to put that right in front of me, I'd eat it. It was actually pretty good. It didn't taste like baby food, it just tasted like some good old creamy / fruity pudding. I don't really know how to describe it. It was its own unique thing. I liked it, personally. Let's see. Pepperoni is disgusting, according to Impy. Pizza should just be cheese or ham and pineapple. So, ham. Thanks for bringing this up. Now that since we're still talking about food, ham is a weird one for me. I used to think that I wasn't gonna like it because it was meat, but I tried it one day, and well, I didn't dislike it. I can't really say that I liked it either because I didn't taste it. It tasted like nothing to me, which might indicate there might be something wrong with my tongue, but you're free to go in there and check it out if you want. But I'm really glad that I eventually discovered that ham is edible for me because, well, to fully grasp this, what I'm trying to say, we need to go back all the way to the year 2019 when I was stuck in Hong Kong. And we were at the airport for literally all day, all the way up until like midnight or something like that. And I was so hungry. There was no macaroni. There was probably no pizza. I think there was a McDonald's, like there is everywhere, but no. Airport food is expensive, first of all. I don't recommend it unless you're really hungry, but I was starting to feel my stomach cave in on itself, like insert the like the message in Fear and Hunger that says Sai is starting to feel a little bit hungry. Wow, I see people are people are killing each other over there. What's going on? Okay, right, so I'll finish my story before I get distracted. I saw a little cafe-like area in that airport that was selling a ham and cheese sandwich, a pretty big one too, and I was like, wait a second, I can leverage my previous experience for this. I know that I can eat ham. I'm gonna buy this sandwich, and I did, and I ate it, and I felt so refreshed. I had a ham and cheese sandwich, it was warm, it was fresh, probably, and I felt like I saved myself. I was able to carry myself through that plane ride that was about to befall me. My time in Asia was something else, but maybe that's a story for another day. I just wanted to mention my ham escapade, if you will. Well, there's Brits fighting in my chat. Such a Brit moment. They love fighting, don't they? What else is here? Unless you are dying, airport food is a no-go. That I can agree with, which reminds me of this one time that I was also at the airport for like 10 hours, and I was in Colorado, and the food was like $10. Even like the McDonald's was super expensive, and I had to whip out one of my emergency protein bars and snack on that to hold me over for the rest of the day. I was not able to consume anything else until I finally flew back home, crawled over to my house, and consumed a protein shake. It was a breath of fresh air. I was so happy to have that protein shake after all that time, rotting away in a different state. Guys, I'm Italian. Please stop talking about pineapple on pizza. I'm so sorry that they've offended you. I apologize on their behalf. See, it's bad, but according to some people, it is edible. My youngest brother actually prefers pineapple on pizza, which is why he doesn't really live with us anymore. Hehe. Let's see here. Baked beans. I'm a little particular on beans. I don't really like beans, but I do like black bean sauce if it's smothering my rice. That's how I like my rice, smothered in black bean sauce. Without the beans, I don't really like the bean texture. That's just me. Oh my gosh. You guys look like you're having fun. I'm glad you're having fun. Let's adjust my chair a little bit. I'm going to, on the topic of bananas and having to deal with food service and Dunkin' Donuts and Baskin Robbins, etc. Oh yeah, I thought it was just a me thing that I don't like black beans. I'm just picky about everything. Everything has to be good, but let's talk about the next thing on the list that is arguably worse than bananas. It's also something that I associate them with sometimes. In the next room we have customers. Truly a horror among mankind, a real blight upon this world. So yeah, so far we've spent half an hour talking about food. Can you believe that? Food and food service. I don't wish food service upon anyone except for my worst enemies for the aforementioned reasons. Bananas and customers. It's been 20 minutes. Banana 20 minutes. That's fair. I put a lot of effort into this build, if I'll be honest. We have a little food stand with a cash register and some ice cream. And it's lined up by demons, zombies, ghouls, and people who think they're kings just because they went shopping. Gosh. The nerve of some people. I would say this reminds me of a story, but that's a given, isn't it? I'm sure I have a lot of war stories about this sort of thing. See also the Scream painting. That's how I feel all the time when I have to go to work. I could have replaced customers with human beings. I really could have, but I really feel like customers are a different species altogether. Genuinely. It shows a lot about humanity as a whole, that's for sure. if there's anything that SMT was good at, it was ripping into the human race and constantly saying that they are bad. That's neither here nor there, though. Although it's kind of here now that I think about it. One time, when I was serving in the Duncan War, I was training a fellow employee, a coworker, and she was a nice girl. She was kind and was open to learning and helping people, etc. You know, she did not deserve to be there under any circumstances. She deserved a better job. Like, if you're working at Duncan, what got you into that situation? You know, like that trope that goes, "Yep, that's me." I'm sure you're wondering how I got into this situation. Oh, so on the topic of pizza, really quick, when I eat a pizza, if I order my good old regular Domino's pizza that I described earlier, I eat half in a day, and then I eat half the next day. Which, by the way, I reheat by putting in the oven, not the microwave. Please stop putting your pizza in the microwave. It does not deserve that. It deserves an oven. Good oven-baked freshness. Anyway, that's as I was saying. I was training this coworker how to use like the smoothie making machine or something like that, and it wasn't very long. I wasn't spending too long on it. I then heard someone go, "Excuse me." I turn around and there's a customer at the desk, at the counter. And she said, "Hey, can you help me?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was just training her for a moment." Or something like that. Something along those lines. And the customer responded with, "I don't care. I'm here now. You have to serve me." And then she proceeded to give me her order. And I gave her the most dumbfounded look. I was like, huh? Is this a real human being? It can't be. There's no way. There's no possible way this is a real human being. And I will never forget such a scarring experience. I don't think I won, honestly. I didn't say anything to her. I really wanted to. But some people are just not worth the trouble. Like, just satisfy them so they can leave as soon as possible. You know, that's kind of the attitude that some people have, which is really sad now that I think about it. There was one time, though, where I did talk back against someone, and it was really funny. Twice, actually. I was working at a terrible, terrible place called Restaurant Depot, which is currently being sued right now, but more on that later. I would not wish that job upon anyone except for my worst enemies. I was a cashier, and a cashier has to approach these huge metal carts full of stacks of boxes and cases and all of these like hundreds of items because it's a bulk buy store. It's where small angry businesses buy all of their stuff for cheaper so that they can manually bring them all over to their small angry businesses. And you know, it was just another day for me. A cart rolled up and I started scanning, and this guy, the customer who owned the cart, sorry, it wasn't a guy, it was a customer. He said, "What, you're not going to say hi? You're not going to greet me?" And at first I tried to play dumb and I hid behind my ignorance, my willful ignorance, and I was like, "Oh, sorry, I forgot." He tells me, "You work customer service? You forgot to greet someone?" And I wanted to say, technically it's not customer service. I'm just here to do my job and scan, blah, blah, blah. No, I improvised and I gave him the most knee-jerk reaction. And I smirked and I giggled at him and I said, "I don't get paid enough for that." And he smirked back, and he's like, alright, bro, you sound stupid. He didn't use the word stupid, he used a much harsher word that I would be demonetized for saying. But he definitely said some very not nice things. I think I probably just laughed it off and I was like, yeah. Huh? Who's there? Huh? Hi, Ferris. Thanks for subscribing. Great to see you. Is that... Oh my gosh, Robin? Real? 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 Okay. Let's contain my excitement for a moment. Hi, I'm... Oh my gosh. Here to observe. Didus are in motion. Have I mentioned that I love Didu? Didu, if you're still here watching Beyond the Grave, I want you to stick around for a little bit because there's something I want to show you. I hope you have some time on your hands. I'm really sorry if this is interrupting your schedule in any shape, form, or fashion. I won't rush myself, though. You can't rush perfection. Right. There was this other time, if we're going to talk about these monstrous customers. Alright, you got time, that's awesome. Nice heart emojis. I was scanning something on a cart. It was lots and lots of items. But it's not easy. Sometimes the scanner doesn't work. Sometimes the item doesn't scan. Sometimes you need to get a supervisor. Sometimes the scan, like the barcode's not even there. Sometimes you need to type in the item number manually. The entire number. It's aggravating. It's slow. It's bumpy, rocky. It's not efficient whatsoever. It's so bad. And it's just natural for me anyway to be really slow about these sorts of things because of all the roadblocks. I mean, my coworkers were scanning everything instantaneously because they've spent their entire lives there and have sold their souls to Restaurant Depot. And sure, that's their prerogative. They can do that if they want. But I'm not one of those people. My soul is somewhere else. And I was, limping along, scanning these guys, this customer's items. And sure, you can teach me some Italian. And this guy, he said, with a really distraught tone in his voice, he said, "Buddy, you are so slow." And I looked at him. I looked at him dead in the eye. And I said, "I know." And I just kept on scanning. We did not exchange a single word after that. Nothing else needed to be said. What else can I say? Hi. Hello, you who just joined. Good to see you. We're talking about horror stories. We're going through the dislikes bar right now of my build. On top of the build, by the way, we also have we have that powered by birds painting, which really reminds me that we're all just cogs in a machine. Really unfortunate when you think about it. I have poltergeists and evil thunder and imps and bones and dead people because honestly, that's really all work is. It's a place to die. It's not where you go to live, it's where you go to die. Depending on what your job actually is. If you have a cool job, proud of you. I'm glad. Can I have it? Horror is good sometimes. Enough about that. Let's talk about another thing, another dislike that surprisingly all three of these things can be encountered at Dunkin' Donuts, which is why I have so much stress just thinking about it. I wanted to say the word PTSD, but I'm not sure if anyone would take offense to that. I say it in a joking manner, of course. The next room we have... bugs. Disgusting little things. Let me explain. I'm going to give you a disclaimer. Let's talk about the origins of my bug fear. I definitely have a phobia. It's definitely a phobia. EDF! Thanks, Chi. Great to have you on board. Now, let me explain. Moths, I disagree. I hate moths. Ants are annoying, but they're not scary. Unless they're like driver ants. The only ants known to kill and consume human beings. Different story, though. I think ants are really cool. Like, eusocial insects are really, really fascinating because of how they operate. It is literally just a giant hive mind. It's basically, it may as well be a giant organism on its own. Now, let's talk about the origins, right? It all started, one time I saw a dead roach when I was like 3 years old, maybe 4, and my mom was like, yeah, that's a roach, and I was like, wow. But I didn't think anything of it because I was like 3 years old and I didn't have sentience back then. Even when I was a little bit older, around like 4.5, maybe 5, like I was sitting outside one day and a little blue fly landed on my hand and I was like, wow, that's cool. I hope you stick around forever so we can just stay friends for like my whole life, because I was a dumb child back then. And then the fly flew away and I was like, aw. Modern Sai would never have reacted that way. He would have whipped out the nearest flamethrower. So what happened? You might be asking, where did it all go wrong? I'll tell you where it went wrong. Let's talk about SpongeBob. I think you know where this is going. I don't think I have to explain much more, but I think I'm going to anyway. Summoner since day one. It's funny how that works. You're so right. I did not eat it. Okay. MP said spiders are arachnids, not insects. Spiders gain my respect. I'm not afraid of spiders. I like arachnids. I think they're very cool. They're fascinating, and they're true allies against, you know, the real threat, the actual insect. They're an ally to the cause. You know what I mean? Yeah. But to understand that, we need to talk about parallel universes. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. You remember, I don't even, yeah, I did not even need to explain myself yet. Yeah, that was something else. So, yeah, I watched the SpongeBob episode with Wormy the butterfly, and how the butterfly flew up to people and jump scared them with loud buzzing noises and a real-life image of a close-up insect face. My 4-year-old self was traumatized. And I screamed, and I turned around, and I looked away as quickly as I could. I was sitting next to my mom at the time, and when it finally went away, I asked her, like, is it gone? She's like, yeah, it's gone. I turned back, and then the butterfly jump scared someone else. And I dove under my pillow, and I just hid under there. I was so scared. It sounds so silly talking about it, but these were like real feelings of terror. At least for my childhood brain, they were. It was awful. It was awful. It was so awful. And now that I understood exactly what insects are, that's where my main fear comes from. It's not the bugs themselves. It is the compound eyes, for the most part, and the sounds that they make. The frequency not only hurts my ears, but it triggers some sort of fight or flight response. Except it's flight every single time, every day of the week. This reminds me, I mean, I could go on about this forever, right? How much I hate bugs, but there were a bunch of bugs at Dunkin' Donuts. Who would have thought? There was one time when somebody didn't clean the drains properly, and there was a huge swarm of like tiny little gnats and fruit flies swarming the poor little apple fritter on the shelf. And when somebody ordered an apple fritter, I turned around and I was like, are you sure you want that? And they see that it's swarming with little tiny insects, and they're like, maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, let's catch up on chat. Roaches, worst thing in existence. I could go on about that forever. Fleas, I've never encountered fleas because I am not a dog. My dog's never had fleas either, I don't think. Mosquitoes, horrible, horrible things. They're so bad that my weather app on my phone has a literal stat that says mosquito activity. And almost every day of the week, mosquito activity is either very high or extreme. Which basically just tells you, don't go outside, you're gonna get eaten alive by mosquitoes. Okay, so, next up. Bees better than wasps. Okay, I'm afraid of bees, but I do respect them for what they are. I don't want to anger them, that's the last thing I want. I respect the eusociality, I respect how they operate, the structures they build, the honey. I love honey. But I don't want to get close to them. I want to stay out of their way. If I'm walking to work and I see a bee in the grass, I'm just gonna step away from it. I'm gonna get out of its way. It's a mutual respect sort of thing. I've never been attacked by a bee, and I don't want to start anytime soon. Yeah, MB, SpongeBob really did do this. SpongeBob was definitely something else back then. Remember the Daltons? I don't know what that is. Maybe you'll have to remind me. Let's see here. Flight or flight response. Very true. That's literally what happened. The elder sibling struggle of having to be the one to kill roaches for my little brother. Actually, me too. We're going to talk about that in a moment. Mosquito warning for weather is something I never knew existed. Yeah. Ever been to Florida? Let's see, what's next? Wow, he's speaking Italian, probably. That's cool. Oh yeah, Grounded. I heard about that game. I heard about it. I haven't played it. I play a lot of Earth Defense Force. I've played Bug Fables. I've played Hollow Knight. Well, those are great games. Bugs are really cool when they're artistically represented. Realistically, they can be not so great. Let's see. What do you think about DBZ? I haven't really watched it. I don't think I've watched it at all. Except for this one time that my friend told me, hey, I want to show you this cool anime fight scene, and it was Gohan versus Cell. And I was sitting there for like hours waiting for the fight to end. It wasn't bad. Just not my thing. Hollow Knight is great. I 112%ed it. I have all the achievements. It's great. Maybe I should stream it someday. It's great game. It's not okay. It's not Italian, it's Portuguese. Well, European languages look very similar to me, except you can easily identify French and German and Finnish. Probably some others. I could probably identify Spanish too because my dad is Cuban, but you know. Yeah, you can try to teach me some words. I doubt I'll remember them though. Let's see. I want to talk about roaches again, as much as I hate them. I could share roach horror stories every day. I hate them. They are the second worst. Okay, no, palmetto bugs specifically are the second worst creatures on this planet. The first is the botfly. I am not going to ask that you look it up. Do not look it up. You will scar yourself for life. Don't do that. But, roaches. Palmetto bugs, which are also known as American roaches, apparently. Think of a giant roach, a really large, oversized roach. But surprise, it flies! And you'll never know until it's too late. Okay, so, oh, hello is ciao. Actually, okay, I didn't even know that was an Italian word. I thought, okay. I've heard that word used for hello and goodbye. I think it could be used either way, pretty sure. Yep. I see you too have watched Monsters Inside Me. Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah, so there was this one time I was playing Risk of Rain 2 with some buddies, and I got a message, like a very frantic, all caps message from my brother. And he said in all caps, "Bring the roach spray." And I was like, oh frick, I was in the middle of like a teleporter run in Risk of Rain. Like I was in the middle of the teleporter fight, and I was like, sorry guys, BRB. I throw my headphones down, I grab my chemical warfare, which I keep for self-defense, at my desk at all times. And I run downstairs. Like I freaking run downstairs. It is like probably 2, 3 in the morning. And luckily my parents are not home, so it's just me and my brother at the time. And I run downstairs and I'm singing the whole EDF song. To save our Mother Earth from any alien attack, from vicious giant insects who have once again come back, etc. And I run over and my brother is like, I ask him, where is it? Where is it? And he's like, I don't know, I lost it. And I was like, no, you can't tell me that. Don't do that. And thanks for subscribing. And he said he last saw it like over in some general direction, and then suddenly it appeared. It showed itself, and it started running through, running across the floor at very alarming speeds. And I'm very trigger happy, so we both scream, and I hold down the spray, and I freaking obliterate it with chemical warfare. And it spins around in circles before just kind of flopping over and dying. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, you discovered it. You should get rid of the body. And my brother's like, what? No? Heck no. You get rid of it. You killed it. And my brother is not really scared of many things. He has much less fears than I do. But he will not go near a roach. He will not touch a roach. He will not dispose of a roach. And actually, yes, it literally felt like I was at war. Very true, Impy. I steeled myself, right? We stared at the body for a really long time, hoping that it was completely dead, because sometimes it's not, and if you try to touch it, it springs back to life for no reason, because those things have extra lives. It's kind of OP, please nerf. And after we waited long enough, and it was actually completely motionless, I had to sweep that thing into a dustpan. It was so ugly. It was so horrifying to look at, like an actual eldritch creature. It triggers all my phobias. That I took off my glasses. I literally... I chose to blind myself. Oh, that was my stomach. Uh-oh. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? I have internet access. Why is this working? Oh, never mind. We're back. I guess we're back. That was weird. That was weird. My internet did not even go down. It was just like a weird hiccup. Okay. Phew. I'm glad it wasn't like a more permanent problem. Anyway. Thank you for being here, Italian guy. Have a good sleep. Have a good night. Wish you very, very zesty, very savory pizza dreams. I love pizza. Cool. Okay, so we are back. Thank goodness. I was scared. It was the curse of the roaches, but as I was saying, I blinded myself by taking off my glasses in order to dispose of this roach without freaking out too hard. I cannot stand to look at them. They cause instant panic just looking at them. It's kind of funny how I'm so into eldritchy stuff, but I crumble before something that is like 1,000 times smaller than me. It's kind of weird how that works. But I very carefully carried that thing over to the toilet and dropped it in there and flushed it, all while continuing to sing the EDF songs in order to pacify myself. And yeah, that was it. The room smelled like chemicals for the rest of the night, but whatever. Cheesecake or pizza? Well, they're two very different things. I love cheesecake. I really do. You know this. Even something as simple as a plain old quote-unquote New York style cheesecake, really good. I like it. I like it a lot. Great dessert. Pizza is a great dinner. I wouldn't really, mix them. I can't really choose between them, I don't think. But they're both really good. I like them. It's hard to make a choice. But if I had to make a choice, it would have to be pizza, just because it's probably something that can sustain me a little bit better than cheesecake can. As I was saying, I could go on about these roach stories forever. They're like war stories, I'm telling you. But I think we've basically gone over... Oh, right. I would like to give a few honorable mentions, right? Wasps. I've never actually been attacked by a wasp, and I don't intend to, because if I see one, I just run the other way. I avoid them. It's the way I avoid bees, but harder. Don't you love seeing a Dido move? Hi, Riley. Riley is the name of the family dog, by the way, in my house. Everyone calls him Riley. That's his official name, quote-unquote, but I'm the contrarian, and I call him Teddy because he's a soft, fluffy boy. Just call him Teddy. Anyway, hi. Welcome to the stream. I would like to mention dragonflies really quick. I don't want them to be close to me because they kind of freak me out. But I respect them. They're really good flyers. They don't bumble around super hard like other bugs. And if they want to go somewhere, they zip right over. Like, they're great aviators. I can respect them. I think dragonflies like Meganeura, like the 3-foot dragonfly from the pre-Triassic era, that was a really cool bro. I thought he was super cool. I don't want him getting close to me, but I respect him for what he is, and I think he has a pretty swell design. Yeah, fun fact, his name is not actually Teddy. I've been giving you a false truth. My truth, rather. One of my friends avoids wasps and screams in fear when he sees one like a 10-year-old. Well, that's just a natural way to react. I don't see the problem here. I would also like to give a shout out to millipedes. They're docile little things. They would never hurt you. They're super slow. They don't scare you. They're herbivores. They're just precious little things. Don't mess with millipedes. They never did anything to you. Centipedes might do something to you. A giant centipede can venomize you with its toxicognaths, which is a word that you just learned just now today, otherwise known as its giant pinchers that it uses to bite things with. Giant centipedes can be very nasty. They're very fast. I've never encountered one, but I'll let you know if I ever do. Regular house centipedes, never encountered one either. I heard they're a real nuisance in some places, but I would probably be less afraid of a house centipede than a roach or a fly. That's just me, though. Shout out to Arthropleura, the prehistoric millipede that was like 5 feet long or something. Giant millipede. I thought that was super cool. I think he's a really cool bro. I would totally have a pet one if I could. That's just me, though. Let's see. They don't have millions of legs. That's true. So I would prefer his insect to be insect girls. Well, that depends. It really depends on a case-by-case basis. I would prefer if they didn't have compound eyes. It's kind of weird, right? Does compound eyes fall in line with trypophobia? Because that would be really freaking ironic if that were the case. It's just not something that I really enjoy looking at in high detail. They're like little eldritch creatures. They're real eldritch creatures. Let's see. Shout out to grasshoppers. They're gross. Stay away from me. Shout out to beetles. They are cool. Beetles are cool functionally, but I don't want them near me. They can fly, and that can jump scare me pretty easily. I say the same thing about the mantids group. Mantids are cool. They are depicted very well in media such as Hollow Knight. Great game, please play it. But I would prefer if they didn't fly around me. That would scare me. They're also really mean. They bite each other's heads off. How about your eyes, Lamau? I'm so glad you asked. Let me... Fine, you know what? Since someone brought it up, thank you, I'm going to... Actually, can I zoom this in without... whatever. I'm going to bring myself over here. I'm going to show you the true power of what good compound eyes can really do. This is probably my favorite thing about this character, this self, this vessel that I've been able to inhabit. It makes me very happy. I can usually, yeah, see, some of the eyes, they dart around, and some of them just kind of jitter, like there's something is scuttling around underneath, waiting to break free. But that I can just cover up for the time being. Not everyone would appreciate that very much. I do, however, and I think it looks great. The irony. Am I right? You're thinking about trypophobia. Trypophobia? Something like that. We what's the word? I don't know. We research phobias here. Let's see. Does that look good? That probably looks fine. Yeah, it's probably fine. Snails, by the way. I don't think snails are actual bugs. I think they're mollusks, but people call them bugs anyway. Snails are cool. I like snails. Do not hurt snails. Slugs, do not hurt slugs. Butterflies and moths. I would prefer if they stay far away. Moths are scarier than butterflies. I don't want to be close to them. I think you get the point already. Which reminds me of this one time when I was finally crawling home after the Colorado trip. The last obstacle in my way when I finally Ubered home was that somebody had left the porch light on for several days straight, and it was crawling with bugs and what looked like bees. Just something just flying around them. Which, by the way, on the topic of bees, there was a beehive in my Dunkin' Donuts. There was literally bees in my Dunkin' Donuts. Just hanging around at the ceiling, trying to get into the lights, because they were attracted to the pretty light, and then they kept falling down like idiots and dying. One of them even landed on my hat and then bounced back onto the floor. Terrifying, terrifying experience. I do not wish Dunkin' Donuts on anyone, except my worst enemies. I think you get the point, though. Let's see. What's next? Vampire moths. I don't want to get close to that, if I'll be honest. That sounds like it would hurt me. I think I've been bitten by moths before. At least I think it was. Why does every place you work at need a health inspection? The swamps. It's because everything is built in the swamps. Which reminds me, thanks for reminding me, by the way. I'm sorry to keep dragging this on. Many years ago... Actually, no. Well, before we go back many years ago, let's start from a more recent thing that happened at some point. I was sitting at home alone, and there was a knock on the door. And my dog was barking, so I ran over and I looked out the front door. I didn't actually open it. There was a guy standing there. He was holding a paper in his hands. And I thought that he was maybe like one of those people that were either trying to sell something or trying to indoctrinate you into their religion or something like that. So I just ignored him. And he stood around for a while. He eventually placed like a little business card on the doorknob. And then he like went back to his, like he went and like started peering into one of the cars next to our driveway. It wasn't our car. It was the neighbor's car, but he was looking into it, looking around. He went back into his car and then took a picture of the house, at least that's what it looked like, and then he eventually drove away. And I was like, huh? And, okay, so moths can't pierce skin as far as I'm aware. Well, okay, we'll see. opened the door eventually once he was gone, and I looked at the business card, and it said that he needed to schedule an appointment to deliver important legal papers to me. Please call this number, or whatever. And Mom got home literally a few minutes after that, comically enough, and she called him and asked what was going on. He was looking for me. Specifically me. And I was like, what? And she continues to explain that there was an incident at Restaurant Depot in 2021 that I was a part of and I was a witness to, and they wanted my testimony. I was being, I believe it's called subpoenaed. I was being subpoenaed. And I eventually got the papers the next day, and yeah, there was a judge that was asking me to appear in court at some point on whatever date. And I was like, bro, I don't care. Can I just not go? I don't have a good memory anyway. And I eventually learned the story behind this. When I was working there was a lady that I was scanning items for, and she was looking for something from the cooler, and then as she was walking back to the register from the cooler, she slipped and she fell and she broke her hamstring, and she was in a lot of pain, and I tried to help her sit down, get comfortable. And that whole incident, apparently from what I learned, she needed surgery to get her hamstring back in order. But like, in that incident, I did remember there so happened to be a rather fresh little puddle of water right next to where she slipped and fell. Whether or not she did slip or fall, I am not, or just trip normally, I don't actually know. I didn't see her trip, but she fell like in front of me, I guess. She was behind me when she tripped, and then she fell in front of me. Does that make sense? So now, after all these years, I'm guessing that she's trying to sue the company, and I was literally witness number one, and they want my side of the story, because as expected, the depot is trying to deny that they did anything wrong and that there was no puddle there at all. But yes, there freaking was. I eventually spoke with the attorney on the phone at some point, and I gave him all the information that I could. He was actually kind of nice, very friendly. I liked him, but they don't know if they're actually going to call me into the hearing or the trial yet. It is probably it's supposed to be going on this week. I don't think they've done it yet. I don't know. I haven't heard anything back from them, but yes, every place I work at needs a health inspection. So thanks for reminding me of this story. I could probably use this as a really good opportunity to get back at that stupid company for hurting me so much. But that's just me being petty. When I tried to explain that to my stepfather, and he said, "Ah, yes, how horrible, they gave you a job and they gave you money, yada yada." Shut up, buddy. They tortured me. Side debuts and goes to court, any percent run. You know, it's really funny how we got here. Advancement get. How did we get here? It's a Minecraft reference. Right, so bugs are no longer... Actually, wait, I'll mention one more thing about bugs really quick. This painting is of Mothron, which is based off Mothra, one of my favorite Godzilla characters. I actually have a Mothra figure on top of my monitor right now. She's just chilling. I think she's really cool. She's done really, really well. I like her. She's awesome. She looks more like a butterfly than a moth, though, so I don't know why her name is Mothra. I'm not going to question it. I like big monster movies, by the way. Monster movies are cool. Moving on. We've talked about everything I like and everything I dislike. Well, not everything I like, but we're going to go into more of that very soon. So, enough bashing on the negatives. We gotta stay positive in these days. I messed up the freaking dislikes thing. I'll fix it myself later, after this, probably. I don't want to get too busy into fixing the wiring of the dislikes sign. I have spent more 40 minutes in the bugs room. Thanks for keeping an eye on my timestamps. It's really interesting. We've spent half an hour talking about food, more than half an hour talking about bugs and health inspections. Moths can have colorful wings, just not as common due to not eating color at night. Yeah, makes sense. See also the cinnabar moth, which is black and red. Anyway, so I'm just gonna go down here. Pretend that the dislikes bar is not actually on. And down here we have my top 3 games in the world. I like a lot of video games, and I don't really like to rank them very much, but in my top 3, at least I can organize that. Number 1 has to go to Nostalgia Bait Toy Commander. I don't think anyone here has ever played it. They've probably heard of it because I can't shut up about it. It was a game on the best console, the Sega Dreamcast. It came out in 1999. It's about 3 years after I was born. Oh boy, Dido's up to something. Know thy enemy, Dido. Know thy enemy. And as they say, sometimes the most paranoid people are the most aware. Sometimes. Yeah. Yes, I don't know, like, sometimes you fear the unknown, but then in the case of bugs, sometimes you fear what you know a whole lot more. But it helps to know about these things so that you know what you're dealing with and how to deal with them, etc., how to approach a situation. That's why I always go straight for nuclear warfare against roaches, because if they jump scare me with flying, it's an instant game over and I die. There is a story behind that, but we'll get to it some other day. I want to talk about Toy Commander and how it is the greatest game ever. It is a mission-based, very based game on the Dreamcast where it's kind of funny, right? You might think it reminds you of Toy Story, and there's definitely some similarities there. The main character's name is Andy. His full name is Andrew, actually, but, you know, everyone calls him Andy. And he's just imagining, well, I mean, the opening cutscene makes it look like he's just imagining, like, using his toys to make and complete missions and stuff. The story is all about how Andy got a bunch of cool new toys to play with, and all of his old childhood toys are sad and jealous and resentful over being overlooked, so they start a mutiny, and they round up a bunch of toys to create an army to destroy his new toys. And so you play as these toys, which are like vehicles, planes, trucks, helicopters, tanks, and you complete missions around the house, whether it's flooding your parents' bedroom and putting out the fire on your parents' bed for some reason, or flooding your kitchen and taking out all the submarines that are inside the flooded kitchen. Things like that. And then eventually, after you complete enough missions in a given room, you get to face that room's boss. And the bosses are not very long, they're very short actually. They can be hard if you don't know what you're doing. And then, if you defeat them, they join your side. More on that in a little bit, but in the final, like once you've unlocked the final area, the basement, the cellar, that's where you face the Toy Commander, who is Andy's first toy ever. A teddy bear named Huggy Bear. That's right, he has Hug in his name. And he is the leader, the general of the whole mutiny, and he's decked out. He's got a mech, he's got Gatling guns, he's got like some sort of plasma launcher, he's got a scope on his eye. He looks really cool. I love his design. Like, he's ready for war. And when you get to the cellar, you get to play as every single boss that you've defeated up to this point, and you get to combine all of their powers basically to face off against Huggy Bear. And whatever boss you didn't beat is actually going to be there in the cellar fighting against you alongside Huggy Bear. So defeating them for some reason convinces them to join your side, which is kind of funny. It's kind of a lot like Toho when you think about it, but it's a different story, I guess. When you defeat the Toy Commander, he finally calls the whole thing off, and he says that ultimately he was just feeling ignored. He knows that Andy's getting older, and he doesn't want his childhood memories to be forgotten. His final words in that level, after you beat him, he says something along the lines of, "Never forget us, Andy, and never stop dreaming." And then, after that final level, it turns out that like there's a cutscene plays. This whole thing was a dream or a flashback of some sort, and you see a more grown-up Andy actually piloting an airplane, and very badly, I might add, because he was asleep at the wheel and almost crashed his airplane into a mountain, and then he woke up just in time because his flight attendant woke him up, and then he grabbed his controls and steered the plane to safety. And yeah, that's the game. It's kind of an idiot pilot, honestly, but I like the message. To not forget where you come from. Hold on to your cherished memories, because one day they're just going to be just that. They're just going to be memories. That's all you're going to have of them. Maybe I'm reading too much into it for a silly little kids game developed by French people, but it was a darn good game. Oh wow. Oh, yeah, you saw an airplane. Well, we were talking about airplanes too. We were talking about Toy Commander and how the story is nice, even though it's very simple. I like the style of gameplay that it has. I would love to stream it someday, but on emulator, the music doesn't work, very sad, and I have a Dreamcast, but it doesn't really work very well. I would probably need to get a new one and get it in working order, and then have some sort of capture card or something. I would like to get some capture carded games onto the streaming screen at some point. That would be super fun. Now, I was asking for T10. Oops, I was asking for T10's opinion. Oops, on the build here, and he actually thinks that the tank that I built here is probably his favorite part of this entire thing that you've been seeing, which I'm kind of proud of it. I'm glad he thinks that way. I built a little toy green tank. I attempted to like make some like a soldier and like a Huggy Bear looking guy on the mannequins. This doesn't really look very good, but you know, I did what I could. Let's see here. Oh, it's a helicopter. Okay, well, helicopters are also cool. So, thank you. Glad you like it. The background here that you see is, it's a very colorful tile pattern, and it looks pretty random, but there is a story behind that. Well, not really a story, but there's a reason behind it. Like in the first level, first room of Toy Commander, it's the kitchen. And the kitchen is decorated in very pretty tiles. On the table and on like the backboard, the border of some of the walls, there is a pattern of colorful ceramic, I assume ceramic, tiles that are very shiny, very colorful, really sets the tone for the game. But I decided, like the freak that I am, I'm going to... What was that freaking sound? Oh my gosh, what was that? Burnsy has embraced the void. Welcome, Burnsy. Thank you. I forgot exactly what that means. When I don't remember what I did. Oh, it's a Twitch follow. Right, it's a Twitch follow. Okay, so for some reason I can see my Twitch follows on here. That's weird. But fancy, I like that. We're not even on Twitch. So I would probably alternate between YouTube and Twitch depending on what I'm doing. If I'm just gonna do like mass scale gaming, like doing a Terraria run, which will happen, it's my main game, it's probably gonna be done on Twitch, just for like convenience's sake, I suppose. Get jump scared. Thanks. Twitch follow jump scare. So, what else was I gonna say? Right. These tiles, I studied them very hard on semi-blurry in-game screenshots of the game, and I literally I literally, like, copied the pattern of kitchen tiles, like, color by color, one by one. And I recreated the whole darn thing in this tiny back wall. And you know what? I shouldn't have. But I did anyway because I have way too much dedication to this game. Yeah, confused. Yeah, like, what? Who? Who would do that? Who would follow? So, I try to explain Toy Commander to my friends, but, like, some people are like, so it's just Ace Combat, but worse? And I'm like, no, but it's got its own, it has its own flavor, its own tone, its own charm. Trust me, dude, it's really good. And they say, it just sounds like an objectively worse Ace Combat. There's no reason to play it. And I was like, you're wrong, because it has its own charm. And then they're like, do you have any other reason except for nostalgia? And I was like, it's really good. No, they said, quieter this time. I need to connect my camera to my computer. Went to a museum for a Marine Corps of the Army yesterday and took photos. Well, that's pretty cool. That is cool. I like tanks. Send me pictures of tanks when you can. I think tanks are super cool. So, in the next slide, we have Terraria, which is yeah, I'll lower a little bit more. Well, I mean, that's a given one, right? Everyone knows what Terraria is. It's the medium that I'm using to promote this art that I'm making right now. And it's a great game. Like, I don't really think I need to explain that much about it. If you somehow haven't played it, you should. Give it a try. One of the cheapest games on Steam. Goes on sale for like $3. It's one of the most bought and highest rated Steam games of all time. It's the like number 9 or something best-selling game of all time. Recently overtook Red Dead Redemption, I think. Yeah. See, I'm not even, am I a pacifist? I don't know. I don't really know. I don't think about it that much. But tanks are super cool. Like, they're big, and they have cool-looking conveyor wheels, and they have giant cannon. They're cool-looking. I love their design. I go by the fact that I still stand by the truth that Blitztank is peak character design. You will never see anything better than him. Semi-biased, semi-joking. Now, you know, I thought about it, right? Like, when you really think about what blocks to use for an actual build that is just about Terraria as a whole to encapture the whole feeling, it's kind of difficult. But I started off with a pixelated background of Gemspark walls and some living wood to make a little tree, some grass. I used the world banner, which is one of my favorite banners in the game because it has all of the layers of the world. But they are going to be respriting it in the next update, so I'm looking forward to that. It's really cool. I used the r/Terraria painting from the r/place thing that went on. That's pretty cool. I like that. Platinum coins. The tree statue, really good. The gold bunny. Bunny is a Terraria trademark. I have a bunny pin. I have 2 bunny pins on my apron. And I always wear them at work like an idiot. And some people recognize them. And I was like, yeah, man. Like, people will say, I love your pins. And I'll say, I love them too. Thank you. Right. Getting ahead of myself here. To really... Right, the details also, I put a starting weapon of every class on weapon, what are they called? Weapon racks. And I also painted them to be the color scheme of their respective endgame pillars. We have the orange and yellow of Solar, it's the warrior stuff, so wooden sword. Gray and green, ranger, wooden bow. White and purple, mage, wand of sparking. And as I said earlier, electric blue, as my artist calls it, and gold, stardust. And then we have like one of the starting summoner weapons, Finchstaff. Whichever one is considered starting is really up for debate, but considering you start with a Finchstaff on a journey character, I guess it's probably going to be that one. And then over here in the little itty-bitty corner, we got little throwing knife, because rest in peace, the thrower class. I'm going to miss you so much. Gone, but not forgotten. Sometimes I wonder why I don't have bunny banners on my Terraria playthroughs. Well, because you kill bunnies constantly, and you don't buy the Guide to Critter Companionship. I'm a hipster. I seem to have a habit of liking underdog things. And when Thrower was coming out, I supported it so much, I would even play Thrower in some runs up until hard mode, and then I would have to switch to, like, Ranger or Warrior. But if Warrior would have been a... Sorry, not Warrior. If Thrower would have been a fleshed out class and completed, it would be my second favorite class of all time. Right next to Summoner, obviously. And then I would probably have been tempted to write a Thrower guide as well. Thrower's Guide to Throwing Stuff. But that's in a different timeline that we may never reach, so it is just a dream that will never come true, and that's okay. Sometimes that was meant to be. But yeah, we know what Terraria is, and I would like to say, to sum it up, it would be my main game if I'm going to stream more often. I can't promise that I will. I want to do challenge runs. I want to do really stupid things, using only specific weapons, or maybe even no weapons. We're going to play Master Mode most of the time. We could play the Zenith Seed once it gets updated. It's going to be fun. We could play Skyblock. I don't know. I just want it to be more than just an average Terraria run, unless it's like T10 and I screwing around and having fun, which is what we're best at. I feel like we have a lot more chemistry, synergy. We bounce off each other pretty well. I think it would be entertaining. I'm biased, that's just my opinion, but it's always a fun time when we're in the same room. Copper Shortsword versus Moonlord win. It has been done. Not by me, but it has been done, and it took apparently like... It took someone like over 20 straight hours or something, and that's not really something that I want to do. I know it's theoretically possible, but why would I? I think the flasks, the weapon flasks that give you like debuffs, damage over time, that would probably be more, that would give you more damage than the actual sword itself. And you would need a really complex wiring strategy to avoid the healing. I don't know. It's a big thing. It's not a science that I'm brave enough to look into right now. But that's another thing as to why I like this game so much. You can do so many crazy freaking things. There are so many ways to play the game. It is really just down to the player, I feel. There's so many different ways to approach it. The individuality that you can express yourself with. That's why I consider this game, honestly, a form of art. And I might be stretching it a little bit, but art is a form of expression, and this, well, I built my intro slides right here. Of course it's a form of expression. It's art. But I'm no real artist, so take my word with a handful of salt. In the next slide, we have a classic known as Zoo Tycoon. That's a game that I also want to play at some point. It's... Slimes, what are you doing? I really adored Zoo Tycoon 1 and 2. We don't talk about the Xbox release. I also played the cursed DS version once, I don't know why. Yes. Prey emoji, I agree. What we have here is... Well, I tried to make a natural looking build. Meshed some rocks together, tried to make like a fence to make it look like an enclosure. I have like a little dove over there, or a pigeon, I forget, I think it's a dove. Turtle, some banners that feature creatures that are in the game. Got fish, wolves, sharks, and in Zoo Tycoon 1 there is a Yeti. There's a joke Yeti animal that you can take care of. It's really expensive, but it's really cool. I loved the interaction that Zoo Tycoon 2 brought to the table. Digging up fossils was super cool. Like when the Extinct Animals expansion came out, I was so freaking excited. I was almost in tears. My little child brain could not handle it. Fossil digging and building was one of my favorite parts, honestly. And I just love to build really giant, really cool zoos that lag the game. And what more could you ask for as a kid? If we're going to ever stream that at some point, I am going to play the whole campaign from start to finish. I don't remember if I ever 100%ed Zoo Tycoon 2. And you know what, honestly, like outside of cheat codes, I don't think I ever did that. But if I ever did, we should stream it all the way through. It'll be a fun experience. And you know what? That's going to be super niche, and not many people will probably be into that gameplay, but it'll be relaxing and fun, and being fun is what I aim to do. I aim to enjoy myself. I would not be here if I did not enjoy it. So, that's part of where I got a lot of my appreciation for the natural world. Animals, wildlife, they're all really cool. I think they're awesome. Unless you're a bug. But that goes without saying, doesn't it? I remember Zoo Tycoon 1 was a lot more, like, janky, probably is the right word. It was a lot more rough and unpolished, but still plenty of content, still lots of fun. And maybe I'll play through both of them. I'll probably play through them in order. They're really big games, honestly, but it's something that we can take in small bites, and that's perfectly fine. I don't mind. So those are my top 3 games of all time. I would like to give honorable mentions to games like, well, I don't want to say Minecraft because that's an obvious pick, but, you know, I like Minecraft. You know, it has some charm to it. I liked Hollow Knight. I liked Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, getting a re-release, by the way. Woo! And I really like SMT. I like Pokemon, although I'm probably not going to stream Pokemon. Lol. Some Toho games are really good. Puppet Dance Performance is my favorite Toho game of all time. Better than the official ones, don't at me. And maybe we could play some 100% Orange Juice someday if I ever feel like going back to my war days. Different story though. There's some other really good PS2 games from back in the day that I really liked playing. GameCube and PS2 and Dreamcast, those were the holy trifecta. Really the best consoles in my opinion. But yeah, right. There's also going to be a lot of Risk of Rain probably. There's going to be some Dungeon Defenders probably. I could go on forever, but conveniently that will segue into our very next segment here, which is, what can we expect? This room's a little bit cringy, but I had fun with it. So we're already getting into a lot of this nitty-gritty already. I'm telling stories, we're talking, we're hanging out, I'm playing a game. I am not drawing right now, though. I would like to learn how to draw better someday, and I'm not anticipating that I'll be professional grade at any point in my life, but maybe practicing on screen or something would, you know, motivate me a little bit. You, me, Dungeon Defenders. That's something that we should play, but the problem with Dungeon Defenders is that it's split right now in two. We have the vanilla Dungeon Defenders, and then we have Dungeon Defenders Redux, which is it's an official, I don't want to call it a mod, but it's an official mod of the game that has an actual, like, version, like, under the Steam thing. If you were to, like, select betas or whatever, you can switch to the Redux version of the game. It adds a lot more content, and it rebalances a lot of content. It buffs all the heroes, buffs almost every single tower, and it makes leveling a whole lot less of a pain in the butt. So that way it's not super freaking grindy, and you'll have to waste your entire life just to get to level 100. In order to get to Redux, you would need to, like, the first time you start up Redux, you migrate all of your, well, not migrate, you copy all of your base game statuses and, like, characters and items into the Redux version, but you can still keep your, you know, your base game if you want. You can still keep playing that, but you can't transfer anything backwards, and you can only do this transfer once, the first time you ever play Redux. So it's a little bit to keep in mind. Also, if you have the Linux version, do not launch the game on Linux. It will wipe your save file. Just saying. And, so, normally, okay, so by default, T and I were like, okay, well, Redux is just a better way to play. It's just a definitive version of the game. It's way better in every single way. But then, like 13 years later, 12, 11 years later, Dungeon Defenders comes out with a new update with a new character. Like, they just added a new character this year. After not updating, or after not adding new characters since like 2012 or something. Why? This character, he's cool looking, but he's not available in the Redux version of the game now because it's outdated and probably now forever will be. So now we have a base game that has one new character but is lacking a lot of Redux content. And then we have another version of the game that has all of the content but not the new character. And it makes me want to tear my hair out. It's why would they do this? Why did they add a new character after all this time? I'm confused, honestly. But I'm probably going to ramble more about that at some other point. I think you get the idea. Yes, we should play games together. Yes, I should get world-famous artist Didu McRobin onto my stream. It'll be awesome. We can hang out and stuff. Why would they do this? Why would they? So, if you are surprised by the fact that I'm going to be playing video games here, well, welcome, by the way. Make yourself at home. Talking, there might actually be streams where there might actually be, like, actual, literally just hanging out and not doing much. I'm not anticipating that it'll happen very soon, if at all, but I would not be surprised if it did, because I like talking to people, and I have a lot that I could go over. I have lots of stories to share, and I think you get that. You've already gotten that idea by now. Bedtime stories, experimental feature. I'm telling daytime stories because it's not nighttime. If I was streaming at nighttime, then my glasses would reflect the light and my camera would not be able to track me very well. It's very sad. I need new glasses. Anyway, if people are so into it, or so inclined, so interested, I would actually like to, like, whip out, like, a book or something, like a literal freaking story, and just read it. You can literally just read a story together. And that sounds really niche, and definitely not up everyone's alley, but I think it would be fun. And it would get me to read things more often, because I haven't read, like, an actual book in years, and I'm sure my brain cells are decreasing by the day, so it's a win-win. I can also learn how to sharpen, or what's the word? I could practice my narrating skills. I would like to be decent at using my voice. It's a little rough, it's a little dead, bleak, monotonous, but I think I can put it to good use. Story time with Sai. I agree. So someday that just might happen. So that is about... Wow, I did not take a lot of time on this room, lol. Probably because you've already been covering the basics. I will quickly say, though, really quick, that I so happen to use one of every normal paint color on making these little spots on the wall for drawing. It was a complete accident, but it ended up working out in my favor, and I think that's pretty cool. Best painting of the game is literally the traveling merchant at the pyramids. And then I also added the Great Wave because that is also a real art piece that I think is super cool. I like it. What else? I have very low confidence in my drawing skills. I have a tablet. I can use it, but I can't guarantee that much good will come out of it. I only know how to just make simple lines and scribbles, and that's about it. Can't make any top tier stuff like the Didu over there, or the Sua, who is currently sleeping probably. But yes, that is it's just something that I feel like it would be important to sharpen if I can. Quick water break. Stay hydrated, or else I'll steal all of your hugs. Video games. I don't know. I have a like a boomer sense of humor. Or maybe not. I think I'm a boomer that's trying to, like, how do you do, fellow kids? So that's what we got for the expectations. It's probably not too much out of the ordinary now that I think about it. In here, well, that's just a chamber that leads straight down through the pool of shimmer, which I think is really cool. Shimmer is really cool. Let's go down, and we're gonna get to the semi-final room. It was the final room, but then I added another one like recently. Let's take a dive. Whee! Future goals. With fireworks and everything, because I spent way too long on this room, and I don't think it looks that great, but I tried my very best. And some of my feedback about this room was not very positive, but I tried. I really did. There's many things that I want to do. A lot of these are a given. I had a lot longer on my list, like on the notes, so I had to shorten it down to like 4 things. There's things like I want to improve drawing. That's an easy one. That's already up there. I want to read and write better, but that's also kind of a given the previous story thing. Now, a weird part of myself kind of wants to learn how to sing. The idea is kind of embarrassing to talk about, if I'll be honest, but I am brave enough to share my honesty with you, because as we said earlier, honesty is the best policy. I don't know, like sometimes when I'm alone at work, or if I'm in the shower, I just get the urge to like sing to myself, and sometimes I do. And I don't know, like I feel like I'm in a different mindset between then and now, because if I think about it now, I think, wow, that's super cringe. I would never be able to sing well. I was very brave one day, and I did try to sing for something that I was making. Some of my friends heard it, and I got some really constructive criticism, such as, that was the worst thing I've ever heard, please never do that again. So I was like, okay, I understand. But I want to try anyway. Is there someone outside? Oh, whatever. So as such, improve lack of skills, which kind of leads into, maybe I should play an instrument someday, because I like music. I've never really been hands-on with it, I just listen to it a lot. I'm sure most of you are, that doesn't really make me very special, but if I were to play an instrument, I would like it to be a harp, because I'm weird like that, and if possible, I'd like to practice the didgeridoo. That's also an instrument, and it's a really weird, unorthodox choice, but I think it sounds cool. The sounds of the didgeridoo actually kind of relax me a little bit. I think it's very calming to the mind. And harps are just straight up cool looking in general. Maybe one day, if I was to theoretically make a talking stream, it would just be like literally hanging out and like trying to mess with an instrument or something. I don't even own an instrument. I don't even know why I think about it. Maybe someday down the road, if I'm living an okay life and I can probably afford to do such a thing, that'd be nice. My brother is more the instrument guy. He performed in school band and everything, and you know, he's got stuff going for him. Aussie at heart. I don't think I have a little bit of Aussie blood in me at all. But I don't know. I don't know my 100% full heritage. You'll never know. It's just, I don't know, like there's something really cool about that instrument. It's very unique. It's not like other wind instruments that just go honk. How did you end up here? Constantine, what are you doing? I'm really, my condolences, honestly. I'm sorry that you succumbed to such a fate. But welcome. Glad you're here. So next on the cringe quadrant, we have meeting an inspiration, which, I mean, it's a bit of a that's a bit of a stretch. And some people would argue never meet your heroes, and to an extent, I can probably agree that's probably true. Hi, what's up? What is up? I'm feeling weird today. I'm feeling like I should be nervous, but I don't know. Something just keeps driving me forward, and I'm just here. I'm doing it. I don't know, like, how do I word this in a way that is digestible? Like, most of us have someone that we look up to, and to get their approval is probably a childish but not entirely meaningless, like, fruitless goal to have. Like, it means something. Like, these people mean something to you. I'm gonna put Dido on a pedestal again really quick and just say that, like, Dido's pretty inspiring. But luckily, I don't have to go through the whole song and dance of trying to be all like, "Wow, notice me, senpai." Like that, we just kind of met naturally in a natural environment, and that was a fun time, good times. Yeah. It feels like Destiny wanted me to watch a VTuber that's talking real deep while playing Terraria. That is basically the purpose behind this whole thing. I'm trying to build I built something that meant something to me. I wanted to express it as much as I could. And every little block just kind of, I felt like it was a piece of me. I'm trying to put myself onto a Terraria build. That almost makes sense, I promise. How would you feel if I hypothetically donoed $500? You don't have that much, to be honest with you. But wow, I'd probably be like, wow, cool. I don't deserve this. How do I give you back your money? I don't think, no, you can't even enable like super chats or anything. Not until later or something. You need to meet some criteria on YouTube. I don't know how that works. I need to look into it. Twitch is probably a little easier way of doing it, but you know, both platforms have their ups and downs, so I might use both. We'll see. First RPG Maker, now Terraria. Actually, Terraria came first. I was really, okay, maybe not like in terms of release date, but I was way into Terraria before I ever touched RPG Maker. Easily one of the best games of all time. Yeah, it's all about monetization, man. It's all about that mono or something. I don't know how to describe this. So I think about it. There's people that I would love to be in contact with, even if it's only for like a passing moment, even acknowledgement. And that's kind of a silly, kind of a petty and childish thing to have, or to desire. But these feelings don't lie, and I have to be honest with myself. It'd be so cool. Let's say theoretically I wrote a Terraria guide. I would like to have it published as a book, because the Terraria, I'm not sure if the devs actually did this, but like somebody wrote and has published actual Terraria guides, like as books. And I would love to be part of something like that. I would love to actually like get their attention and go, hey, I made this. Can we get it published somehow? Can we like make something cool out of it? Put some cool images into it, you know, get the ball rolling. Do something. That would be the most awesome thing. I would love to make my mark in such a way, because writing is such a powerful thing. Oh, and I also forgot to mention that in terms of like on this over here on the skills quadrant, there's also like this yo-yo called the Code 2. It's my way of saying I should learn how to code someday. If I'm going to be messing around with RPG Maker, then coding is pretty important if you want to do something more in-depth. And it would probably help me get out of my my stinky health inspection job. That would be amazing, honestly. And you get 2 rainbow slimes. This is the Resplendent Dessert. It is a combination of the Royal Delight and the Regal Delicacy, I think is what it's called. And those are Master Mode drops from King Slime and Queen Slime. And you can literally combine both of those items into a double pet item. And so now I have 2 slimes. As for the actual rainbow, it is Living Rainbow dye, which is the best dye in the game. Bar none, objectively. So there's that. Okay, thanks. Hi there, dolphin noise. Yeah, sorry, dolphin reveal, by the way. I speak more than one language. There's English and then there's dolphin. Or some might call it English, no, not English, Eldritch chirping. There's no good way to present such a thing. It's such a weird thing that will definitely scare people. But thanks. Yeah, what the indeed. Yeah, that didn't sound very human, did it? Ow, sorry, I hit my desk. It's a habit of mine. I have a lot of bad habits that I try to kind of keep under control in a public setting, but then sometimes they just kind of slip out because I'm not thinking about it. Rainbow is fine for Terra Sparks. Yeah, Terra Sparks awesome. Like the little dust it emits, that's pretty cool. I put rainbow dye on everything, even like my minions if it's possible. It is, luckily. And finally, the most do you usually talk this deep? It's kind of crazy to watch the first timer. Is it a deep voice? I feel like it's a neutral voice. There's definitely deeper. I can't go too deep and I can't go too high either. This is actually me speaking in my more high energy voice. It's not a voice that I use very often. Normally it's much calmer. I guess my default voice is kind of more on the deep side. I sound like a Wednesday morning half the time. Most of the time, I would argue. But do you by chance have a Discord? Oh yeah, I'm sure I have one somewhere. You might be able to find me if you know where to look. Sai is usually much calmer. Yeah. The weed is right. I don't actually know who you are unless I feel like profile snooping, but not at the moment. But yeah, at least someone knows me. Whee! Fireworks. Enjoy the stream and enjoy your day. I shall commute the Eldritch Overlord soon. Well, that's great. I'm glad to hear from you. It's great. Makes me very happy. The most... Wow, I realize I put the most freaking work into this quadrant, probably. But the most important thing that I would like to do in the future is to make your day. And I hope by some extent I can start doing that today. Make someday today. I'm pretty sure I know you because maybe the name is familiar, but I have a really bad memory, I'm gonna be honest. But thank you for hanging around. Every little bit counts. I love to have that kind of support. It means that someone I can talk to, I can bounce ideas off of, we can have a conversation. Otherwise, this stream would have ended like an hour ago because I haven't actually explored. Like, I would have just like gone through this whole build showcase and not really talked about that much. What is up? What's up? Excellent connection, says YouTube. Yeah. I'm sure it's great. Sorry about the hiccup. Am I on the... Are you on the official Terraria Discord? Yes. Yeah, I am. I'm there to look at the announcements and the polls, because the polls are really funny. Like what is the scariest dungeon enemy? And like, it's always the sniper. Synternet is great. It's amazing. And this is truly the power of Ethernet. Praise dat cable. Truly. Yeah, we're back. Okay, very good. Cool. Why you die? I don't know. Sometimes I just die, and then I come back later. I don't know. I would like to... I mean, how else do I describe wanting to make your day? I want to make people smile. I want people to experience whatever the opposite of pain is, because pain is bad. I think, I don't know. I would love to take and, like, give you a home if you didn't have one. I don't know. Well, maybe that's it. I want you to feel at home here. I want these to be mostly comfy, relaxing streams, with the exception of intense Terraria gameplay. Like, there's going to be a lot of variety when it comes to Terraria stuff. I'm either going to be doing my super cool challenge runs, or we'll just be building something with T. An internet cable emote would be a great idea. Maybe one day. Alright. Thanks for stopping by. Have fun out there, Constantine. Hey, that's me minus. I'm streaming, and I'm real. You're real. That's awesome. Opposite of pain is tickling? Or maybe just smiling. I don't know. Tickling can be painful if it's done wrong. Or right. I don't know. So let's see here. You've missed so much, Impy. Well, you should just stay with me forever and just never let go. Like, ever. I don't know. Seems pretty simple to me. What was I talking about? Right. So one day it's gonna be like a chill, like I'm gonna call it like a chill like Terraria stream, and then I'm actually just doing like some intense challenge run that nobody else would be very brave enough to try. And then I'm gonna have another stream it'll be like super hardcore Terraria gaming, and it's just pure silence. Just me and T building, interrupted by T going, "You have any stone?" Yeah, sure. I like everything that you can do in this game, honestly. It's great. It's great. It's a perfect experience, in my humble opinion. If I had green hair IRL, I think I would be beaten up on the street. No, I don't actually have any. No, my hair default is brown. This character's hair used to be brown, and then he got infected and turned green. He's having a bit of a green day right now. He walks a lonely road. I will, in fact, repeat Master Mode No Weapons. I will do it. I will do it. I'll hold like a funny poll as like a joke and be like, hey, which funny challenge should I do next? And I'm gonna have that one as one of the options, and most people are gonna pick that because haha lol, you're not gonna do it. It's impossible. Suffer. And then I'm gonna do it. I know I can. Although if they nerf the Star Cloak, we're gonna have some problems. But yeah. It's something that we can do. It'll be fun and engaging, and probably mostly done on Twitch. The Koichi virus does get the best of us. Second best Tuhu, by the way. Let's go. Indeed. I need to crack my back. No movement keys. I am not so sure about that one. It's possible, I'm sure, but that just means I have to grapple everywhere. And, like, I don't know. Best is Yukari, right? I think Yukari is my number 8? 10? I would have to look at my sorter again. Remind me to send it to you later. I recently did one, I think a couple months back. But I still remember my top 5. It is still Kasen, Koichi, Suako, Flan, and Ellis. Nobody freaking knows who Ellis is. Okay, have fun. Come back soon. It is not impossible, which is crazy. Yeah, that is pretty crazy, I will agree. Satori is there, somewhere, but not top 5. Yeah, you've played PC98, so therefore you are a based individual. I like you, we should get along, we'll be friends. So, I would like to move on to the final room. This would have been the final one, that's why I made it so big and grandiose, but Komachi and Nitori are extremely high tier. I don't think they're in my top 10. But I like them a lot, and I don't see anything wrong with them at all. I think they're super cool. Also, Komachi wields a scythe, and that's really awesome. Me when Sai put Sakuya somewhere in 140-ish. True. Sakuya is one of my least favorites. She used to be my second least favorite, I think. And then she like moved up a couple spots, and now she's like the 6th least favorite? Something like that. It's kind of a funny story. Of course you know Ellis, Didu. She's like the character that I gush about too much, and like you know about her because of that. And you made an awesome picture of her too. Go subscribe to Didu. Let's see here. Sai's opinions on Sakuya hurt me. It hurt a lot of people. Unironically, it did. Because, well, it's a bit of a story, but literally, I had somebody who was like really worried and like actually like deeply deeply worried about like getting on my bad side or something, because like she really liked Sakuya and I don't really care about her that much. I don't even dislike her. I don't have any problem with her at all. She's just kind of bland. By canon standards, she's kind of bland. That's just how I feel. She is literally made to be the perfect maid, and sometimes perfection is boring if it's done wrong. Let's see here. What's going on here? Everything is a story with Sai. That's me. I have a story for everything. I have a meme for everything. I have many stories because I'm old and crumbling, and I wish to get the word out there into the world before I eventually return to the earth from whence I came. But yeah, I could talk about Touhou all day. Maybe one day we could do like tier list streams. That'd be funny. Touhou tier list. Subscribe to Touhou Fest. Great time, by the way. Come meet me next year. Let's... That tier list stream could be fun. I agree. Because it's all about... It's a really funny way of mixing opinions together. If you're doing a tier list in front of an audience and you get everyone's funny reactions to everything you do. We could do Terraria tier lists in that regard too. Like weapons tier list or whatever. That... I don't know. There's potential. There's a lot of stuff that you could do as a streamer. I once did some experimental streaming back in the day. It was fun. Had its ups and downs, but I learned a little bit from it, and here I am now, today. What time is it? It's 3:57. We've been here for almost 3 hours. Yeah, 2 minutes and 55 minutes. 2 hours and 55 minutes? Sorry. Yes, I'm going to move on to what actually is the final room in this area. This was supposed to be a final one, but I did realize that it's very important to add a little bit of background detail. You actually have to leave because sleep, enjoy, and don't forget, Grim is not a fight, it's a dance. True. Grim's a great fight, great boss, amazing. Hollow Knight's great game. Yeah, 2 minutes and 52 minutes. Yep, I can do math. So, in here, I think it is important to give credit where it's due. Shout out to the shimmer waterfall that gives off really cool glows, but I would like to give a shout out to my best pal Didu Draws and my business partner, Rice Deity. They are the ones who made me possible. They turned me into a real living organism. And I think you should subscribe to them right now on Twitter, I guess. And I try to personalize these a little bit with a little bit of a simplistic design because people like to imagine like grandiose things as like plain and white, putting things on pedestals, etc. So I built some marble pillars and things like that. I had balloon chandeliers, which by the way are really funny. I think balloon furniture is underrated and super cool. I added stars, constellations, and more stars for Dido's little bit up here, because as far as I remember, I'm pretty sure she likes stars, and honestly, so do I. So I think we're in agreement there. I added those stars because they look super cool. Space. And I don't actually know Rice personally, but they're the ones who did the official animating and rigging of my vessel here. Dido obviously created it. She drew it very skillfully, I might add, if I haven't expressed that well enough. Rice is the creator of the shrimp Miku, so I added a shrimp item frame and a music box because that makes sense to me. I also like how in recent updates you could actually now put dyes on mannequins. So I put the I think it was the Twilight dye on Dido's little robe here. It's hard to tell, but yeah, it's there. You can see like little pink stars moving around. They're in there. I think that's super cool. Like the like a pattern that kind of has its own layer and moves independently of the rest of the animation. I think I like that a lot. Twilight dye is so cool. I thought it was very perfect for you. It's 3 a.m. and I'm starting to wonder, am I forcing myself to suffer by watching this stream? You're hurting your body, that's for sure. Your soul might thank you later, though. Maybe. Depending on who you ask. But that is, yeah, I felt like it wouldn't be right to introduce myself without also thanking the people who made this a reality. So, thank you, Dido. Thank you, Rice. Rice is not going to see this, lol, but it means a huge deal. It means a lot to me that you came this far and watched this far. Dido, I think there's never going to be any proper way that I can realistically thank you for all your help. All the work that you've done and all the suffering that you went through just for me. Staying up late is what I do a lot. I would do that too if I didn't work, lol. So now I'm just tired all the time. Welcome back, Tin Man. Oh, you're the guy that kept saying Doom Eternal. I've never actually played a Doom game. It looks cool. I don't know if I'll ever actually play it, but it looks cool. I'll have to hit one of my friends up for that, ask their opinion on it. I actually bought Doom 2016 once as a birthday present, or a Christmas present, I don't remember, for one of my brothers, and he couldn't beat it, it was too scary, and then he later like threw the disc when he was mad, so I was like, okay fine, no disc for you, and then I took it back. Thank you. Thank you, Dido, that means a lot to me. I held off streaming a lot. I feel like I felt like in my heart of hearts that there's still more that needs to be done. I need to prepare better. I need real, like, hyped up intros and everything. Like, have the whole 9 yards, but realistically, I just, that wasn't really obtainable, I suppose. Not unless I was, like, super skilled in, like, everything under the sun. But, I don't know. I've had this model for, I think, almost a year at this point, and I just kept putting it off. I was like, wow, I have everything I need to start streaming. Doesn't stream. And I just sat there, and I just fiddled around and daydreamed, and I was like, man, it sure would be cool if I streamed, and I just didn't freaking stream. And this... Oh, thanks for the jump scare though. I really appreciated it. That was the best jump scare I've ever had. Well, second best. I think the first best was when I was sitting in like one of the VCs just unannounced. I wasn't planning anything. I was just hanging out there, and then you joined for no reason, and I was like, etc. And anyway, what was I saying? Right. The other day, I went through a lot of rough work shifts, one of which was like almost 9 hours. I was exhausted, I was defeated, hungry, and Hi Bernsey, what's up? And I felt really awful about myself. I was starting to feel kind of like, I was feeling a little bit of self-doubt for whatever reason, and I was exhausted. I'd exhausted myself physically and mentally, and there was really nothing else I could do that day except just collapse into bed and just reset the day, because some days are just fricked and cannot be unfricked, you know? And at some point, I looked at my schedule and I realized, oh, well, luckily, I'm off for the next few days, so I can actually relax. But yet, somehow I still felt a little bit depressed on the inside, and I told myself, you know, maybe I need to give me something to look forward to, something to work towards, something to make me feel like I am being productive in some form or fashion. So, I was like, you know what? I'm going to talk to one of my friends who is experienced with streaming and get her opinions and experiences, understand what I'm getting into. And honestly, I was like, alright, you know what? Let's pick a day. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to hold back anymore. So I guess, in a way, being depressed kind of pushed me a little bit to pull myself out of that rut and do something that I enjoy for once. And that's why I'm here today. I thought I was going to be a lot more nervous than I was, but most of that nervousness feels kind of subdued. On the inside, I'm thinking to myself, oh, I'm sure I'm completely messing up somewhere, and I'm forgetting something, but everything seems to have gone well so far. And I was able to show off this awesome build, and I speak a little too highly of myself when I say awesome, but when you spend a lot of time and effort on something, you tend to look upon it highly. At least I think you should. You deserve to look upon it highly. It's your creation. You made it. It's something you should be proud of. Yes. That's so true. Probably. So, I actually had built this months in advance, and then I only, 2 days ago, added this last credits room. And, I don't really know how to describe it, but it just felt like the right thing to do, to just finally get something started. Like I said, I do not believe that I'm gonna have a real streaming schedule like a lot of streamers do, but if I ever find the time and it feels like the right time to do something, I'm probably going to announce it or something. I'm gonna stream. I want to try. It's one of the few things that I enjoy, and who knows where that road will take me. There's only one way to find out. Just gotta do it. That's your daily dose of hashtag motivation for today, I suppose. I hope I grow to be big too, but I've had this channel for a few years, many years actually, over 10. Never really went much where, but I hope to be able to make a difference someday in some way. But I appreciate your good wishes. Maybe I should put myself out there more. Maybe I should... I don't know. I don't know, actually. I'm not a marketing expert, and I don't really know how to do marketing other than just being really freaking obnoxious. But most people don't like that, so I try to avoid it. I try not to shove my interests in everyone's face. Unless you specifically come here to watch me, then yes, I will definitely talk a lot about my interests, because that's what I'm here for. Oh, do I have a PS? Yeah, hold on. Wrong drawer. There it is. I got a PlayStation right here. PS1, specifically. And an Atari. I have one of those too. There's also a PS2 in the lower drawer, but yeah, PS2 is... I would say PS2 and GameCube are tied as the best consoles, the second best consoles, and Dreamcast is #1, always, exclusively. I have the... It's a literal... Look at it again. It's a gray box, and it says Sony PlayStation. So I guess that's a PS. I mean, I don't know there was a real difference. PS4, I know that my friend, a lot of my friends have it. My stepfather has one, but hasn't used it like ever. Let's see how we're looking right now. Yeah. Normal stuff. Cool. The original fat one. I'm not sure what the differences are. I didn't really look much into it. But I definitely have at least 2 PlayStations, and they're pretty classic. Yeah, see, Bloodborne is the reason to buy a PS4, unfortunately. Interesting. Hi, Chi. Great to see you again. I think... Let's look on the map. That's just about... Yeah, that's the whole build. Let's go back and actually fix my wiring now that I've finally finished my introduction officially. Didn't think I'd actually do it, but I did it. This should be pretty easy, actually. Fixed. We're back to the banana room, unfortunately, but... Oops, I dropped the banana split. Let me fix that. Alright, well that's just how the cookie crumbles, isn't it? Alright, thanks for stopping by, Didu. Thank you. Means a lot to me. We're probably reaching the end of this stream anyway, but... Means a lot to me that you watched this. Let's see here. Yeah, let's not talk about the banana room. I also have these, like, music boxes for the Otherworld soundtrack playing across this whole thing. Otherworld would have had a really good soundtrack. Rest in peace. Rest in peace is Otherworld. That's a good question, Sugs. Why? Why did I? But I won't worry too much about it. I'm just kind of following my instincts at this point. That is approximately... Yeah, that's about everything I needed to show. I can finally put my armor and light pet back on so I can mess with my lighting again and my appearance. Stardust best armor, by the way. Don't at me. I think I probably did it to spite Prixon. That does sound like something I would do. Freaking Prickson. What a guy. Alright. Yeah. Rainbows. I like rainbows. There's not really that many other interesting things here in this world anyway. Except for that random thing that T is building. Looks nice. But you guys will see more of T at some point. I'm sure of it. Oh. Wow. Nova, I've been in the back of your head this whole time. You weren't hearing me? Well, I'm glad that you remembered. Great to hear from you. Just had me in the background. That's funny. This whole time. I was even talking about you too. I was talking about how I interviewed with my cool streamer friend to get her advice and stuff, and that's what I did. I have been having fun. I am also in your walls because you told me that I should move to Finland, so I took that to heart. So there I am. You might not want to look out the window. I do wish you were cool, but you are cool in my heart, and that's really all that matters. Under the floor. So true, honestly. Let's probably close this game. We have I have a lot of characters, but I have a feeling that we're obviously never going to go over all of these, but I think you can probably tell that I've been playing this game for a while. It's a good game. You should play it. Great, great game. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do next time, Nova. I'm just going to join you directly. I don't need to hide anymore. I think I can trust you. Now, let's close this for the time being. We've had a wonderful first day. Maybe even an only day. Who knows? What do we got? What do we got? Let's unabsorb the tenties. I miss them. Bring them back. And bring me over here so I can stare at you. And change the background back to how it used to be. Ta-da. I have a habit of really liking Stardust for some reason. I think it looks awesome. No, I don't think I've ever heard of Gorilla Tag. But it sounds dangerous. First of many, I hope, right? It's going to take a while to get the ball rolling, I'm sure, but maybe after I hang out in Twitch long enough and do more challenge runs, people will understand just the kind of chaos that goes down here. Maybe they'll want to stick around more, and that would just be swell. Best hug location. Yeah. East Air. 3 hours of forcing myself to suffer by watching this stream. It wasn't my intention to hurt you. You brought this upon yourself. Agulu is here. He's always been here. I will take a last moment to go over a little bit of my design here because I feel like that's something that should be addressed on an introduction stream, don't you think? There is a lot of backstory behind the character's evolution, but we would be here forever. So, hey, sup Trey, you missed almost the entire stream. We've been here for 3 hours, a little bit more actually. I showcased my entire intro and everything. My sleeves are full of googly eyes, actually. They do hunger for souls. They have googly eyes and they have mouths with tenty tongues. I think it's pretty funny looking. I like them personally. Herr General. Amazing. Hi, Trey. If we're going to put things simply, I think... Let's see, so I have a bandage with that is hiding some very unfortunate secrets. My hair used to be brown, but after I got infected, it became green. How awful. Minty green is such a terrible color. Looks good on me, though. I have a cross necklace. It's very important to me. It makes me almost appear as a saint, which is kind of funny. Saint corruption guy. Most importantly is a blue and gold emblem here, based off a summoner's emblem in Terraria. So if you couldn't actually already tell that I'm in Terraria, well, there you go. It's right there. It's right down there. I'm pointing at it right there. I'm gonna go. I will check in the morning. Have a good day / night. Bye. Okay, you too. It is currently 4:20. Yeah, don't worry. The stream won't last that much longer, but you know, it's great that you were here for a decent part of it. Vloggers, says Ryan. Hey, what's up, Ryan? You missed almost the entire stream. We've been here for almost more than 3 hours. But I guess you'll be able to watch the replay when this is all over. I'm sure you were having a lot of fun with your tourneys and such. Let's see. If you noticed on these, I'm sorry, sad face. It's okay. I understand you're a busy guy. Me, when the chat is text only and I can't post the weed version of Psy. That's funny. Yeah, we can't post images here for some reason. Cringe. Very cringe. I think Dido did a great job on like adding the shine layers on the metallic objects. And then Rice also animated them pretty well. I am very happy about that one. On my coat, there are patches. It's a little beaten up. It's a little old at this point, but, you know, that's fine. There's 3 of them. Each one represents a very important friendo. We have the star patch for Didu, and the T patch for T, as if I haven't spoken about him enough already. And finally, a little baby blue ribbon for Archie. Because I guess she's a close friend, I suppose. I didn't really have many ideas for the undershirt, so I just made it a random plain white shirt. We decided on that. And my cope is that it actually, I seem very, like most people may seem very simple at their core, but over the years they add more traits and parts of themselves to themselves. That almost makes sense. All the people in their lives, they really, they have an influence, a very minor influence on who they are. And I wouldn't really be much without all of these funny gadgets on me, these funny accessories. At least I would look very plain without them. They all tell a story, and you know how much I love stories. You would not believe the things I've seen and done, but that'll remain a mystery. Where's mine? Yeah, sorry, you're not here. Maybe you can be one of the strands of flesh that's barely holding the cranberries back. This is a feeling when not Sai's close friend. Oh no, I should put a disclaimer right freaking now that I don't like to play favorites, so I'm not going to say if anyone's actually a favorite or not. That'd be very mean. Let's see here. I do have a job interview, totally, yeah. Yeah, after stream, I need to, like, throw off all of the tentacles and just, like, run to my job interview. Got places to be. Yeah, could you imagine if I was ripped? Look at me, I'm ripped. No, I'm not. I tried to be, but I'm not. I probably wouldn't. Physically, this character's probably not very strong. Most of the strength probably comes from the tendrils. He hates you all, run away. I hate my players. Haven't I made that obvious? Can't believe it. Whoa. Let's look a little closer. If you look close enough, there's another tiny tinge of cringe in my eye. Hearts full of... or eyes full of swirlies and hearts. The eye tracking I'm trying to get used to. I need to fine-tune it. I'm not sure if I'll be able to without help, but I think for the time being it's serviceable. Nothing really needs to be perfect. As I've heard once before, perfection is the enemy of progress. Or something like that. Yes, totally. That's what being a summoner is all about. Just have extra lives in the form of extra bodies. He needs to find the Emerald Sword. One day I'll be finished searching for the Emerald Sword and I'll understand what the heck you're talking about. Yeah. Alright, let's do one last cranberry reveal before I eventually put this to an end. And let's turn down the lights a little bit. Yeah, very fancy. I made it, or rather Rice made it so that the eyes are the only things that are unaffected by the lighting, so they really, really stand out. And I think that is stinking rad. Hey, Sai. Removing the bandages. All I remember. Happy day, right? I'm hungry now. I'm hungry too. I'm gonna have to eat some food after this. I spent a lot of time talking and maybe not so much gaming, but semi-gaming. What do we got here? Wow. I think we've done a great job today. It's made me very happy that you've come all this way just to listen to my ramblings, because there's going to be a lot of stories and related things down the road, assuming that I continue to do something like this. At least by making them cranberries, no one will eat them, because cranberries just dry your throat out for the lack of taste. Yeah, they probably don't taste very good. Thanks for the heart emojis. Thanks, Sammy. Great. Means a lot to me. And now that I can actually look at myself in the virtual mirror, I can actually mess around with my poses a little bit. My face went... cheese? Gimme. Okay, that was fun. What else is here? Heart emojis. That's funny. I don't even know how you do that, but that's pretty funny. What else do we have here? I have some basic expressions. I can make myself sad, or I can make myself glare. I can make myself go Angie gamer mode, super focused, concentrating, and just add or remove the tenties, which is very sad. I have to do that during when it's gaming time, but when it's talking time, like now, you can have them in full view for the most part. It was worth spending my whole night literally watching this entire stream, even though you suffered greatly according to yourself. Now what will you do though? He's probably gonna go to bed. But yeah, right after this. Honestly, I think that's fine. I think this is a pretty high note to end it on. I've done everything I needed to do. Done a cringy intro. I looked around through my Terraria build. I told you about myself. I told you stories. I got you a little accustomed to what the heck you're going to be dealing with in the future, assuming I keep doing this. And I met Didu. That was pretty awesome. That was my highlight of the day, easily. Again, subscribe to Didu on Twitter. It's gonna be great. You should. You should. Best game, TM. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's gonna be... I'm gonna play a lot of games that I like, obviously. Games that you've obviously heard of, and games you might have never heard of. See also Toy Commander. You know, once I get a Dreamcast working. Maybe someday. But there's a lot to talk about. But we could probably save it for another time. I think it's probably time that I take a break and catch up on my dozens of missed messages. Streamer mode is saving me for sure from all those notifications. Toy Commander, any percent run. That would actually be pretty quick and easy. Except for the final area, because then all of the enemies would be right against you in the final boss. You probably don't want to deal with that unless you do the cheat code that gives you like the battery weapon. It's a long story. But yeah, I think today's been a good day. And I have you largely to thank for it. That being said, let's finally wind down for the day. I'm going to... What's this? You should play Ace Combat and Radiant Historia, Shin Megumi Tensei, and Moria Blitzkampf. I'm sure if I played Moria Blitzkampf, I'd probably get canceled pretty quickly. Good game, though. I recommend it. You should play it. Ace Combat. Hey, buddy. That'd be fun. Probably. Radiant Historia. I have played. Maybe I should play the 3DS version instead next time. I don't know. Yeah, Ark's not going to be on air for a while until her internet fixes up, as far as I'm aware. So she'll probably have to move out for that. Maybe we should just move out. Let's move out. That'd be great, huh? This camp is an experience. You should finish it someday. And hopefully not exclusively only by the flamethrower right before you fight Archie. I'm almost surprised too, but I'm sure that she's super busy working on her game. She's trying to be ultra famous and whatnot. I respect the grind personally. Project Wingman. Yes, we should nuke California again. Same. No. Oh, I should also probably do the dishes too. I need to put away the dishes. Yeah, have fun with the cringe intro. I'm finally gonna put an end to this first experience, but thank you, everyone who has tuned in. It's actually more than I anticipated, and couldn't ask for a better audience, so thank you very much for your support. I will now figure out what to do next, lol. Thank you. Cheese emoji, squid emoji, hug emoji, etc. Yes. Good days to you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day or night. We will meet each other again some other time. And as always, know that you are valuable and that you matter. Bye. Yes, there's an end button. Bye.